everybody. Welcome to Directly to You. It's our podcast. We're fanatixfour. I'm AJ of fanatixfour, joined by Parker, also of fanatixfour. It's a show. You can support the show by going to youtube.com/fanatixfour or twitch.tv/fanatixfour and give $4.99. Or if you're on Twitch, you can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get a free subscription, courtesy of Jeff Bezos, and you get all the stuff that everybody else gets if they get $4.99. What is that they get, you may ask? They get access to the supporters-only Discord. They get loyalty badges. They get emotes. They get free Switch keys from time to time. And they get to say, yo, yo, yo to Duncan. And I never gave Brad a slogan, but it's too late now. You know, you can say hi to Brad.
True.
But anyways, you can join our Discord regardless of if you give us money. You just don't get access to the supporters channel, but it's still cool. You know, you can still talk to people, you can still play games, you can still ask us questions for the podcast, which if you listen to it on audio services like Spotify and all that stuff, you know, I got beef with you because every time you tweet out the podcast, you're like, and you could do, at first you didn't tweet out the audio and then you started tweeting out the audio and then you're like, or any other podcast service. And I'm like, they need to go to Anchor regardless because you can see all of the other podcast services on Anchor and it's like hyperlink.
I just figure like if people listen to podcasts, like they know where they go for podcasts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you got the link. You don't even got to search anything. It's all right there for you. You just click the button and you're done.
Good link.
Good. Also, apparently not, because somebody asked me like an hour ago, yo, how come fanatixfour is not on Spotify? And I was like, it is on Spotify. And then I had to link them and I went to anchor.fm/DTY and pulled the link and pasted it.
Using your own advice. How smart can you be?
But anyway,
nice.
Play video games also.
We do.
Are you playing?
That's accurate.
Games?
Yes. This week's been super busy, so I haven't played a lot of games. Pretty much, I've just played Immortals: Phoenix Rising.
Nice.
Playing more of that, still enjoying it, and I don't know. It's just fun to like. I'm not going to say a whole lot more about it because I've talked about it already, but it's just fun to like dip in and dip out, do a couple little things. And like, you know, I mean, it's the same way as, again, like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, any of those things.
How dare you compare it to Breath of the Wild? They're different games. They're totally not.
Not even. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's been fun to do that. But otherwise, yeah, haven't really played a whole lot this week just because there's so much stuff going on. But this weekend we're going to a cabin with us and another couple that we're friends with, and we'll probably play like some Jackbox Party Pack games. I think I'm gonna get
the S-ranked game.
The S-ranked.
Speaking of Daniel, we got to get him on in 9 episodes. We got to do it.
You're so right. That's coming up. Here, I'm gonna plug in my phone real quick because I just realized it's about to die and I'm about to be in the car for a while. So. Okay, that's what I'm playing. Cool. What are you playing? I'm still listening to you.
I am playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Still.
I saw that.
So I can destroy my brother and also Logan. Yep. But see, that's the thing. That's the problem. That's the issue here. Every time I get like good at a game, nobody wants to play it anymore, dude. So it's like,
just because you win all the time?
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
But I'm like, that's how you get better, dude.
Yeah.
That's how you get better. You got to learn how to play the game. Sometimes
with Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, blah, 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 do you get any kind of like reward for playing against each other, like in-game currency?
So. I don't think so.
You know? Okay.
I think
so. Just bragging rights.
Generally, when you do online games like in private lobbies and stuff, they don't usually give you anything because you could cheese it. You can.
Oh yeah,
you
exactly.
Could be like, oh man, I need some currency. Can you like SD for me, dude?
You're so right.
But I think even I say that, but I think Smash Brothers does give you coins. If you
but I think like the coins
don't mean anything.
Yeah,
but
what do they even do? I know
you can buy
things for spirits and like
spirits and like the tickets for classic mode and stuff like that.
And
but at this point,
maybe like the items that help with spirits and things like that. I don't know.
Yep. But I can't.
Is anybody still keeping up with all of the spirits? Because like. I'm sure somebody is.
There's people on Twitter that do it.
Sure, there's a contingency, but like, goodness, that's got to be.
Like, I have every spirit, and like.
I mean, it's definitely less now. You know, like at this point, if you got all of them, then like, you know, some new ones are going to come out every once in a while.
Funny. No, there's a lot of new ones.
Oh, really? Like,
but you have to like you have to be on it. Like if you want every spirit, you have to be on it and be like, oh, okay, there's a spirit event. I gotta unlock all these spirits.
So they don't just add them at the same time as new characters.
No,
They add them
because
more
they have like the Resident Evil event. Remember they had that spirit event and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta unlock them, man, dude.
That's
I think they do randomly populate in the shop though, so you might be able. Like it's not. I don't think it's necessarily like if you miss it, you're SOL.
On my side, we said that at the exact same time. Whoa.
OMG. OMG. But yeah, no, I don't care about that. That's the thing that's crazy because it's like, man, you're a Smash Brothers guy. How much stuff you have everything unlocked, don't you? I'm like, nope. Like there's like because there's categories of stuff that like in the challenge boards or whatever. I have 2 of them or maybe 3 of them.
Mine is literally the opposite because I've gotten I think all of the challenge board things except for I was so close, the one where it's like complete with the 9.9 like a classic mode with the 9.9 or something, and like a couple times I got like a 9.7 or something like that. I'm like no! So it's really annoying, but otherwise the online I was like I mean I have barely anything on there at all, and I went through a couple weeks ago whenever I played it for like a day. I just went through and used a bunch of my hammers and I was like, I'm gonna just get all these ones on the online. Like I'm not gonna play online. It's not gonna happen. But
I was surprised it didn't unlock like because I got Pokemon Trainer and Elite Smash on your game. I'm surprised it didn't unlock that in there.
Weird. Yeah,
I don't know if it like because the game does have like save data, but that's independent on your individual Switch. But for whatever reason, the Elite Smash data transfers over. Like I can get a character in Elite Smash that you don't have, and they'll be in Elite Smash once you get them. It's very weird. It's very weird.
So, out of curiosity, did you ever finish World of Light?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was very disappointed because the only reason why I finished it was because I was like, because I know Sakura was talking about we're not doing cutscenes this time because people just upload them on YouTube and blah blah blah. But then there were cutscenes, but all of them suck.
Like 3.
They're like all stupid,
super generic.
Yeah, the only one that's cool are ones I guess are the ones that we saw before the game even came out. So it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it seems like a silly reason. The whole like, not. Just because they're going to leak online, like what? Yeah, honestly, whatever. There's plenty of people that are just going to ignore them and not watch them online, and then they'll enjoy them, regular. So, But nevertheless, but speaking of Smash, Sephiroth, you been playing him?
Yes, I have.
Nice.
I'm kind of disappointed. Not in the character. I'll get to that. I'm disappointed that the unlocking him wasn't harder because it was like how. But Sakurai always does this, and I'm always talking about that too. Where it's like Sakurai got propaganda, dude. And again, I don't know. Maybe it's just for me, or and also people like me that are like good in quotes at this game. And I say that because there's like people think I'm good, but like there's freaking people way better than me,
right? Yeah.
Like
I mean, like me, for example. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly. But yeah, like I just thought that it was gonna be harder. I beat him. I beat Sephiroth, and I didn't even like try to cheese him. A lot of people that I'm seeing fight him like try to get him by ring out.
So is he pretty much? I mean, I haven't seen any of the footage. Is it pretty much just like level 9 Sephiroth kind of a thing, or like?
I would say he's maybe like a little bit harder than level 9, but I don't know. I don't play stamina mode, so I don't know how they play like that.
I see.
So it's like so very hard. You're at. It's weird because it's like the first time I did it, he was at 150 health on very hard, but usually he's on 200, I think, or at least it seemed like to me. You beat him the first time at 150 on very hard, and then he comes back at 200 on very hard. But I saw Bob do it, and it just randomly switched. I was like, that's weird.
So weird.
It's very strange. But I beat him the first time. So I fought him my first time. I did it on stream. And I fought him the first time with Min, and then I like barely lost. Like he beat me by stamina. He was at like 30 health or something like that, and then he knocked me out. Then I fought him again, and then I beat him. But then I was like, okay, I gotta beat him with Pokemon Trainer because Pokemon Trainer is my main and stuff. And I was also on stream, and I could not beat him with Pokemon Trainer because Charizard's stupid. So it's like I was like, okay, I'm not doing this on stream because I had to like figure out like don't switch to Charizard. So after I got off stream, I beat him with Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing because like Charizard, even if I'm not trying to hit him with Flare Blitz, I'm taking 12% just trying to come back to the stage. So it's like I'm killing myself.
Flare Blitz damages you? For
Yes.
some reason, I never caught that. Oh,
Yeah, it takes 12 health every
yeah.
time you do. That's why that's one of the many reasons why I'm always talking about Flare Blitz being garbage. Because all you have to do is shield it. And if you shield it, just for using Flare Blitz, I take 12 health. Then you shield it, I go in the hit stun, it bounces me off of you, so it tees me up to get hit by another smash attack directly after that. Flare Blitz is garbage. So basically what I had to do was like, okay, I'm just going to be Squirtle, and then I'm just going to stay in his face and not let him do any of his stuff, and then camp him out with Ivysaur. And it was pretty easy. But other than that, looking at the character, or before the character came out, I didn't know where he would fall because we didn't see anything from him as far as like it wasn't really easy to like get a gauge of like how fast he was, and that was really the end all be all for him, because it's like if you're slow, and it doesn't even matter what tools you have in Ultimate, it's very rare, and by very rare I mean it happened maybe once for a character to be slow and not suck. And I would say the only character that's slow and doesn't suck is Rob, and Rob is also kind of not even slow. Like he has aerial mobility.
Is Wario slow?
No, Wario's he's kind of slow on the ground, but he's fast in the air.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
yeah,
like Wolf, right? Wolf is slow on the ground, but he's fast in the air. So it's like if you have one or the other or both, chances are you're going to be good. But if you're slow in both regards, it's not going to happen for you. You can be like normal speed, like Min Min's normal speed. She's not really fast, but she's not really slow either. And that's where Sephiroth ended up falling. Like he's not fast, but he's not slow. And he gets faster on the ground when he has his one-winged angel form or whatever. But he's slower in the air, which is weird. I don't understand.
Is weird.
It's very stupid.
Because of the fact that he has the third jump,
it feels that's probably why, balancing wise, but it feels like he has like more drag, like it's like,
which I mean, like I guess makes sense aerodynamically or whatever, you know, like I know lots of
very
things like
annoying. It's very annoying. It's like, dude, you have a wing, you're supposed to be able to fly, dude, you're supposed to be fat. Like if anything, I would have thought they made him slower on the ground and faster in the air. But, hey man, I'm not a Sakurai. So
is he fun to play as though? Like,
yes, and that's the only reason why I even care that he's in this game, because beforehand I was very vocal about the fact it's like I aggressively don't care about this character, and not in the sense that I'm like mad or anything, but like I just don't care. Like I know, and it was like it's like juxtaposed by like the fact that like, you know, the weebs and people are like Final Fantasy VII that aren't weebs, I guess, are so hyped for this character because he's freaking Sephiroth. He's like one of the most iconic villains, and I'm like, I don't care because he's another sword boy. And like I would like always call him like anime sword boy and stuff like that. I don't really care. I know there's people that get mad about anime characters and stuff like that. I don't care about that. I just don't want more characters that are the same as each other. And that's why it's like, oh, straight up sword fighter, that's boring. But he's fun. He's fun to play. I don't know if I know usually I can easily say like, oh, this character is going to be good or they're going to be bad. I don't know if he's going to be good, but I know he's not bad. Like that's all I know right now is that he's not bad. I got to play him a little bit more to get the gist on where he falls. I think that bare minimum, which when I call a character bad, it's usually that they're like middle of the road or worse than that. Because if you're middle of the road in a game with 80 characters, you're worse than 39 other characters. So you're bad, you know? But I think that he's somewhere in like the top 20, which is good. But he might be higher than that. He might be like top 10, but I kind of doubt that. I think he'll fall somewhere in the middle of that. So
here's a question. So obviously with his wing, he gets an extra jump and all that stuff. I said jump. And so, you know, he's got more like ability to recover and stuff. Do you find that, I don't know, it seems to me like at high levels of play or whatever, that most of the time you'd end up dying by like, you know, getting shot off the stage or whatever, where like DIing down is more important than being able to recover up. But like, if somebody had like perfect, you know, like super, super good recovery, but they weren't that great all around the rest of the way, like, is that much of an ace up their sleeve? I guess is what I'm trying to ask. What do you mean,
for like the character or the person?
For the character, like King K. Rool, for example, if he could fly infinitely up, you know, something like that.
nah, he would still be bad. He would just
Okay,
they would just live longer.
Right.
Like especially like King K. Rool specifically, he would just get beat up longer. Um, but but for Sephiroth specifically, I don't know if the jump. I mean, the jump, especially like higher levels of play, your recovery being good is usually like how versatile your recovery is, not so much how easily it gets you back to the stage. Sometimes those things are mutually exclusive, but not always. With Sephiroth, I don't find myself using the jump to recover because his up B is stupid. Like his up B can recover from very far. The jump just helps you mix up your recovery and just say like, I thought I was coming back then, but I'm not. Or comboing people because his up air is also very dumb. It's like it's huge. I mean, he's freaking.
I mean, he's got the giant sword.
The giant sword. But like you could like. One of the first things I did, I dash attacked. I was in training mode, and I dash attacked the Link, and I up aired him, and I up aired him, and I got on a platform, and I up aired him again, and then I up beat, and he died. And it was just like, okay, well, like okay, this character is interesting. But also, I said on Twitter, and I wanted to like specify that I meant like mechanically, but I didn't want to be petty, so I didn't. I didn't say that. But I like tweeted that I was like, "Oh, I get him now," and I didn't mean like, "Oh, I understand why people like him so much," which I think that it also could be read like that. But it was more so like, "Oh no, I get what they want you to do with this character."
Yeah,
and his whole game plan is trying to make you shield, like because if you shield, it puts you in a 50-50. Either he can break your shield or he can grab you because his down smash, like you could down smash 2 times and the shield's broken. So like you just hit them a bunch of times with his little like freaking snappy fireball situation, and then you down smash them when they try, because they're going to try to randomly shield to block the circling fire.
Right.
So it's just like when you can wall people into certain options, that's like a straightforward game plan. That's like, okay, I know what I need to do here. And like people that are good are gonna like deviate from that. But generally, if you're fighting people that are like not good, just hit them with the side B and make them shield and react to that. Like that's his whole game plan. And also like he has so much range, so it's just like you could fight people from far and just outrange them.
Good old Sephiroth. So obviously Sephiroth, all that stuff. Then they also announced some other things like Mii Fighter costumes, specifically Gino was one of them.
Right.
Any thoughts on any of the stuff that's not Sephiroth in all that
I'm sad
and et cetera,
because the character. Oh, and that's the other thing. I think his stage is probably going to be legal. Tournament wise, there's like some.
It's just like
debate.
a platform and 2 platforms on the side.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like that.
Yep. It's
Do they move
basically
at all,
Kalos. No, it's like Pokemon Stadium, Kalos, like the
right, yeah,
or Pokemon League or whatever. It's like that stage, but with no wall, and I think it might be a little smaller. But the only like argument against, because usually when stages are legal is because there's some sort of like cheese to it, or like obvious stuff like, oh, there's a freaking giant Pokemon that attacks you randomly, like that type of stuff. But also there's stuff like Bob is upset about this one specifically, like Castle Siege, the Fire Emblem stage. It has a slope and that breaks certain moves. So like if there's like some sort of like weird jank with the stage that consistently breaks a mechanic, competitively they usually ban that stage. But there's not really anything like that. The thing that people are saying might make it illegal is that it's visually distracting, but I don't know if I agree with that, because there's like Bayonetta's stage. Her stage is like, no, like this stage will never be lit because there's so much crap going on. But like there's not that much stuff that's like super distracting.
Is it? I didn't watch the whole presentation. I just watched some bits of you streaming. Is it a moving stage? Like it transitions between things?
Well, like in the background it moves. It's like going through like, I think it's like something to do with the plot of the game. It's like a freaking meteor coming down and stuff in the back. It's like like you ever see Final Destination? It's sort of like that sort of vibe. You never saw Final Destination? Not the movie.
Stage?
The stage.
Okay, I thought you meant the movie for some reason. I was like, no. Yeah,
Final
Destination. Yes.
So like that's like similar vibe to that, but it's brighter. There's like a segment of it that's just really green, and there's like explosions and anime magic happening in the background. That's like the worst part about it, which I didn't think it was all that distracting. So who knows, man? The other argument that I don't know if it's going to get much weight is people are like, but what about colorblind people? And it's like that people posting images of like, well, this is what it would look like for them, and it just looks grayscale. So it's like,
yeah, I'm not
I
sure.
don't know what to tell you.
Right. Yeah. I'm curious about that kind of thing. Cause that's, so Rob from Rules to Review, he's colorblind, which is, so he'd mentioned
So what
like,
kind?
I'm not sure exactly what kind. It's maybe red and green.
Apparently there's a whole
I
spectrum
don't
of
know.
that.
Apparently,
Too.
yeah, I didn't know. But so he was saying like when he first saw Hollow Knight, like he played a little bit of it and just saw the first bits of the world. And he was like, this game is like really monotone and boring because like the first couple areas all had color spectrums that were in his colorblind spectrum or whatever.
Right.
So like where like it is pretty diverse, I would say, but for sure if it's like, well, it's using the colors that don't look like that. So I'm always curious now, that kind of thing, like, yeah, how do these, well, I would say I wouldn't say I'm always curious because I don't think about it a lot of times, but now like that you mentioned it with that, like I am curious, yeah, what does that look like for anybody that's colorblind?
But the other thing, the update is not fully out yet,
right?
which upset me because I spent like, I don't know, like 25% of the stream after he came out being like, where are the patch notes? And then it just eventually was like, oh man, because that was like the thing that I like still care more about than Sephiroth. I was like, I want to know how this affects the game at large. I don't really care about him like that, you know, like I'm not going to main this character or whatever. I want to know what's going to affect me. You know? So that is not fully out, and I'm assuming they won't release the patch notes or change the balance at all until the 22nd, which is weird because Sephiroth is in the game, so I agree they would still change the balance to account for that. But I don't know, man, I'm not Sakurai, dude.
You're not. Oh, I thought this whole time.
I wish, man.
You were.
I wish there would be like 70 less characters in this video game
and 100 more Pokemon trainers.
No. There just would be way less characters because it makes the game annoying to play. Because you gotta learn 80 matchups, and in Pokemon trainers case, you gotta learn that 3 times over. So it's like,
it's true. So yeah, there's that stuff. And Gino came. Everybody's sad because he's not probably going to be an actual. I don't know why. I legitimately thought he was a Mii fighter, I guess, in
Smash 4.
Okay. I definitely thought that he was already a Mii fighter in this one as well. But
I thought you were going to say, I thought he was a shoo-in. I was like, how? I don't understand why people think he even had a little bit of a chance. Because like,
I mean, it's one of those things where like, you know, they surprise us all the time. So if it happened, I'd be like, all right, what a surprise, I guess. But I definitely don't think it's a shoo-in by any means.
Yeah, he would be one of the characters that I would be shocked by. Like, there's a lot of characters that, like, in hindsight,
there's not enough legacy or relevancy quite.
Yeah.
It's like in the kind of Venn diagram of neither of those. So like, whereas obviously there's some characters
it's well, I guess that also plays in the relevancy, but it's like he has one game and he's not even the star of that game. Like,
yeah. So I mean, because he's just not like an icon in the same. I think people have turned him into one for sure, and like a lot of people love him, and that's great. But as far as like just the general masses and stuff like that, it's not like Duck Hunt Dog or something where everybody's like, yeah, I know Duck Hunt Dog. I haven't seen him in 30 years, but I know Duck Hunt Dog.
Yeah. And it's also a thing of like, can he be mechanically interesting? I think that's the 2 main questions that they ask themselves. Like, how iconic is this character? Do people care? Would they be fun to play as? You know, and it's like, I don't know about Gino. I don't know. I mean, he probably could be, but I don't know if he would be especially fun. You know,
I feel like a lot of characters from turn-based RPGs could end up being pretty fun just because you end up having I mean, I still haven't played Super Mario RPG, so I don't know, but you end up having just a lot of different kinds of moves that you can do throughout the span of the game. So like that translates over fairly well, I feel like, to being interesting, but yeah. But what is interesting too is Doug Bowser saying literally nothing in this interview with Polygon. I pulled the whole thing up.
Well-trained.
I know. I mean, we're not going to go talk about it for forever because literally like all the questions that were asked were pretty much like
he gave
zero new things.
Answer to,
you know, so I mean, I'm still glad that like we were talking just the other week about how like we wish Doug Bowser and Furukawa and stuff were a little bit more front facing. And this is some of that as well, you know, having interviews. But I mean, he was asked about things like the Switch Pro, and I think the answer to that was something within the vein of like, we're always considering new hardware, but actually he didn't even say that. It was like the Switch is performing so well right now. Like
this is like, I never even looked into this interview.
No.
Like, I knew that it happened because of all the videos and news articles and stuff.
Yeah.
And I hated so much because people took that comment and were like, no Switch Pro. And it's like, they said the same thing immediately before the freaking new 3DS and like every new hardware thing they ever do. They're like, oh, no, we're happy where we're at. And then a month later, here's new thing.
I think the thing is, I mean, it's like, obviously nobody wants to, that's not the way they want to announce the thing that's going to happen if it's going to happen. So like, I think we can just never expect. Really, what I wish had happened was that since Polygon had this interview with Doug Bowser, I kind of wish, like, I know that they want to have the breaking news of, he said the Switch Pro was happening. So I get that for sure. And they want to ask all the topical questions in case he answers them. But knowing that he's not going to, it kind of would be better.
Stuff that you think you're going to get an answer.
Yeah. Like ask stuff about the past, more interesting stuff as to insight into Nintendo and how they operate and stuff like that. I think that would be way just more interesting in general, because we would actually get some, content out of it. Whereas I don't think any of this disproves literally anything. I think it's just kind of, a big old nothing. But still, fun that Doug Bowser's doing stuff. That's how I feel. But yeah. But the last big news bit that we're probably going to spend a little bit of time talking about is we had an Indie World presentation this week.
We did.
And man alive, it had a bunch of stuff in it. So that's fun. All right. So I'm just going to, the new way that we're doing things, I'm going to say all of them, and then we'll just say say whichever ones we want to talk about. So Among Us, Spelunky and Spelunky 2, Grindstone.
Oh, wait, we didn't even talk about Among Us. We got to talk about Among Us. Among Us is cool. Everybody's excited about that game. I'm down to play more. But, like, also, whenever Smash Brothers is devious, dude. Every time they're just like, I'm going to play more of this. Eyes like, but guess what, though?
No, you're not.
You're not. You're not. Even a little bit. But, I mean, eventually, I got to download it. I'll download.
So, I have a question about Among Us. It says 4 to 10 player, which I didn't know you could do down to 4 player for some reason. I thought you could only do 5 player. So that's good to know. I don't know. It says 4 to 10 player local or online. What does local look like? Like, I assume it's multiple switches.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say, like, that would be cool if there was some way to do it on one switch, but I don't know how you would.
Yeah, I don't think there's a
make
good
any sense
way to do it on one switch.
Like, other than, like, we're going to put a divider on the screen. Everyone can only look at their part.
Or maybe they... Well, no, I couldn't see them do that either. I was about to say maybe they would like tell people, like, if you're playing locally, like, you could just do it on your phone. Like some people.
Right. I mean, maybe it's something, like Jackbox Party Pack or whatever. But
but just literally like the game is on the phone.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like a companion app. It's just on your phone already.
So for this Switch game, we're gonna just have you open your phone.
Download them on
your Switch. You don't even think about your Switch, but you're still playing it. Thank you for buying it. But yeah, no, it's cool. I think what's funny about this is like it's a big deal, but at the same time, there's a little bit of me that's kind of like it's kind of not a big deal.
It's not
so accessible already.
Yeah, it was a big deal for me because like I said in the video, I hate the touchscreen controls.
Right.
I hate that they're so garbage.
It's
they're trash. And I don't use a PC. And I'm not doing all that extra. Install an emulator and then edit that emulator so it supports the keyboard. And then I don't want to do all that. That's PC crap. Like even if it's native to the Mac, it's still the reason why I don't like PC is I have to do that sort of like level of maintenance to be able to experience a thing. When on Switch, I could just download it and it works with the controller that it came with, and I can just play the game.
Yep. I think my only problem is just getting enough people together to do it, like, because we'll hang out with another couple at a time, but 4 people is just really not enough, even though apparently you can do it with 4 players, which again, was not aware of.
It just doesn't.
It's just not enough. Yeah, exactly. At that point, it's like, it was either you or you. Nope,
Yeah.
not you. They kill you, you're dead. And that's it. Like that's you either win or lose within like 10 seconds.
Mhm.
So but yeah. It's still that's cool. I'm excited to see what pans out with that and you know, other content creators doing things with it. Cause we've been Ashley and I've been sad because one of the YouTubers we watch, Grand Pooh Bear, who normally streams Mario Maker stuff and all that, but is like he did some Fall Guys stuff and then was doing specifically, more recently was doing Among Us stuff with the rest of his community. And that was just like a fun time to watch because really it's just like we're watching some people interact together in a similar way that we would or something. I don't know. It's just fun to watch. But since Among Us has kind of dipped down in popularity recently, I guess, he's stopped putting up as many videos, which is just sad because we're like, those are fun to watch. So,
Rip, dude.
Rip. But yeah, Spelunky and Spelunky 2 coming next year.
Cool.
Who also, I only know about those games from Grand Pooh Bear because he loves those. So that's random. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm probably going to try those, you know, roguelikes and stuff. Seems fun. Moving along. Grindstone. I've heard lots of good things from the Nintendo voice chat folks, Per Schneider and whatnot.
Did you want this? I think I got an email for this.
Oh, if you got an email, sure. It was one of those where it's like, I'm not buying any new games right now because I just have so much backlog already.
Yep, I got an email.
Cool. Then I should have done it before the video. Well, I wouldn't have had time before the video on Thursday anyway. So
what time did I get this email? I'm pretty sure I got it yesterday, but
there you go.
3. Yeah.
Well, no, literally an hour.
No, I got it at 3 on the 16th. So.
Okay. So in any case, Grindstone, it's like a puzzle kind of game. I don't totally know. Like I've seen it in action and apparently it works well, but you just have to watch the trailer. I don't know how to describe it because I haven't played it myself, but it's some kind of puzzler, like match things sort of, but also it's like an action puzzler sort of deal. I've just heard it's really good. So I'll try it out and I'll let everybody know, I suppose. Calico was not a fan of this at all. I love cats. Did not love the look of this game.
I don't even remember this game.
It was like watercolor looking, but like janky watercolor looking. And at one point you were like little and in a cat cafe. It was like you were miniature in a big coffee mug or whatever and like making drinks at this cat cafe. And you're also collecting cats, but you kind of are like a cat person sort of looking thing, I think. So I don't know.
Is this another Animal Crossing game that's not Animal Crossing?
It seems close enough.
We gotta cut it out.
I know. Honestly, this reminds me a little bit of the video game version of the movie Cats. Just in terms of like,
I hate
just
it now.
cringe.
I had no opinion on it before, but I hate it now.
So I don't know. Maybe other people are looking forward to it. And if so, don't let me influence your opinion. This is just my opinion.
What? That's what you're supposed to do. No.
I don't want to influence people away from stuff, but if you like this,
I mean,
let's have a conversation.
If you're influencing people to be for something,
That's
you're
true.
Inherently influencing them against something else.
You're not wrong. Super Meat Boy Forever, finally.
Yo,
coming out.
Waiting forever for that game.
Yeah, that's literally a week away. So they're less than a week away. That's
take
like
notes,
Wednesday.
Cyberpunk.
Okay, here's the funny thing with that game. Is that they did delay it so many times.
They did.
And yet
but they should have delayed it longer.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think it's like, it
because they didn't delay it long enough for it to be like impactful.
Right.
Because all that delay did was increase crunch.
Yeah.
And that and then them being in crunch is going to cause more bugs. And so just,
honestly, the thing
they should have been like, this game is coming out a year from now.
Yeah. Or like, this game is early access. Like, because honestly, everybody right now is just QA testing for them. Like, because which I guess is what early access is. But like, that's like, people are like, here's all the bugs I found. And like, okay, well, we'll fix that one. Like, whereas that's the thing you're supposed to pay people.
Yeah, but they're being garbage. I think that's too transparent. I think I know everybody wants to give CD Projekt Red, or not everybody. A lot of people don't. I would say most people actually don't.
At this point, yeah. No.
But a lot of people want to give them the benefit of the doubt because they're the studio that brought The Witcher and all that other BS. But I mean, like, it seems very predatory. It seems like
Yeah,
they did this
absolutely.
intentionally, not necessarily
Especially
the game,
the PS4
like
Xbox part. Yeah.
they didn't make the game bad intentionally, obviously, but they didn't care to fix it before it launched, because the fact that they had record-breaking pre-orders and the game made its money back already and it's already profitable, that was more important to them. The fact that they thought that they were going to make their shareholders happy than the fact that they're shipping a product to people that are going to experience this product. It's not just about like, oh man, our shareholders really like us a lot, because at the end of the day, they only care about if your consumers are happy, because that's how they get paid. And ultimately, it's how Cyberpunk, I mean, that's how freaking CD Projekt Red gets paid too. But they're dumb. Short-term success for the like just wasn't going to happen for them.
I think, yeah, definitely,
because that's what they were aiming for.
The like limited review, like only PC review kind of thing, that's like super scummy to me. Yeah, because like I would understand if they said, okay, you can, if you're reviewing it on a PC, you've got to review it on PC with this specs or more render, because that you can do that with PC.
I mean,
there's a minimum specs, there's a thing. But like if you're putting this game out on PS4 and Xbox One, then you need to know how it runs on those.
Or so at the very least, what they should have did is exclusively launched it on PC.
Yes, right. And then bring it to consoles when it's ready.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. But back to our Nintendo podcast.
Super Meat Boy Forever. It took forever, but it's here.
It's here now.
Yeah. I haven't played.
Did you play it at PAX? We played it at PAX a long.
No,
I played it at PAX a long
like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, a long time ago. But what's it at? It was at PAX 2020, wasn't it?
If it was, then I didn't play it.
Yeah,
I don't think it was, to be honest.
Was it not?
I don't think so, because I think they just probably didn't want to talk about it because it was still under development. So like, no, we're just not going to show up at all.
But I do remember playing this at PAX 2 years ago.
Yep. Does it look to you particularly different from when you played it at PAX?
No, not really. I think that it like they kind of like adjusted it a little bit. Because like people were like the eyebrows were raised when it was like Endless Runner,
right?
Yeah, like it's like curated it all. Like why am I?
Well, it was Endless Runner, and there was some what sounded like random level generation kinds of stuff. That's the word, yeah, procedural. But I mean, I think at that they'd also, that's something that just companies or developers are getting better at doing, I guess. Anyway, of like building areas, and it's like it'll randomly pick which ones you get, but like all of the specific bits are like very designed and stuff.
Yeah, like Shovel Knight did.
Exactly. Yep, Shovel Knight Dick. That was the one. I was thinking about that one too. So yeah, I mean, that's cool. I've never played a Super Meat Boy game, so I'm excited. I mean, it reminds me too, like I mentioned on my video this week, Wonderland.
Download it on my eShop account.
Nice. Oh, do you already have it?
Yes, not Meat Boy Forever, I don't think.
Oh, just the Super Meat Boy. Well, then
I mean, I could hit them up.
That's true.
But I don't know if they're sending out keys yet.
I don't know. I got a PR email for the company that does Hoa, one of the other games that shows up in the later in the like sizzle reel, and I just sent them an email. I was like, hey, and pretty much just like, maybe could I have a review code whenever it comes out? I know I'm like super early. It comes out in April, but I just like thought I'd go ahead and whatever. And they're like, yeah, you're way too early. I was like, okay, no worries. Just thought I'd go ahead and otherwise I'm going to forget. So whatever. But now at least the connection has been made.
At least they know that you're
interested. Cool. So Super Meat Boy Forever looks fun. Good stuff. Cyber Shadow. We did play this one at PAX.
It's true.
It was
true. We did.
It was a good old time.
That was like one of the very few games that I played. I was very much so like, I don't care. I'm talking about Animal Crossing. That's why I'm here. But I did play Cyber Shadow. Yeah. Game's dope. I'm down. I was down when I played it 2 years ago at PAX.
Yeah. I mean, if you like action platformer kinds of stuff at all, like this, that's awesome. So there it is. Tunche, what are your thoughts about this?
I don't care about this game.
I was surprised. I like the art style. Like, I don't know specifically if the gameplay will speak to me, but like as I was watching, I was like, it just looks good. I like the vibe that it has. It's super weird that Hat Kid is in there. Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
very
make sense
strange.
at all.
Very strange.
Like Guacamelee would have made way more sense, you know, just contextually within like the Amazon rainforest or something like that. Like that.
I know, like Bob was talking about, like he was like, "How's the licensing work on that?" And I think it's very much so like early days of like Cartoon Network of like, yeah, man, we're in the same,
Yeah.
we were in the same dorm room, man. Like, let me use Dexter in my cartoon. It's
Like, hopefully at least there's costumes that make Hat Kid, like obviously in the promo material, they want Hat Kid to look as emblematic as possible. Like, this is Hat Kid all the way.
Hat Kid.
But like, maybe there's a way to make Hat Kid look more like fit in, like, oh, and now today Hat Kid put on, you know, the same clothes as everybody else around here. So,
I think the art style is cool though.
it is. I really like the art style. And like, I don't know how I feel about beat 'em ups. Usually I wouldn't care that much, but the art style is the thing that like has got me more interested in it for what it's worth.
Yeah, I don't care about beat 'em ups at all. I can't.
No.
I can't. They're so boring after a while.
Yeah. Continuing on, Very Very Valet. Do you remember this one?
Hold on, wait. Oh, I closed the freaking.
It was the one with like you're driving cars, and it seems kind of like within, you know, Overcooked, Moving Out kind of vibe, but with little driving cars. So yeah, that's cool. I'm down with that.
I'm down.
Fisty Fluffs looks so janky, but like, whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember this one because I was like, "Is this like a freaking Smash Brothers thing?" I was like, but 3D, so it's not.
No,
So, no.
Yeah.
You can't freaking forward tilt in this game.
Or can you? I mean, you can get tilted though. So
it's true. Yeah,
what about $3?
Whatever they knocked down the chair and it cost $3.
Go out to the trailer. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that pans out when it comes out. It looks like one of those where if it's done well, it could be, you know, fun and silly. If it's done poorly, it'll just be silly.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, whatever. Happy Game. This is one that definitely has an audience, but I don't know if that audience is me. I'm not super into like Salad Fingers kind of creepy sort of thing, and that feels like right in there, which
it's
is
like, yeah, it's very don't touch me, I'm scared or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not really about that, so we'll have to see what the content exactly
is. Freaking rabbit Teletubby people.
Yeah, and it's a little creepy. So I like, I don't know, there's a fine line between like what spooky stuff I enjoy and don't. Speaking of which, I
was skipping ahead. I'm not.
I was going to say, speaking of which, I need to. It's going to be too late by the time everybody listens to this. But so the weekend that this weekend when we're going away, it's for Chris's birthday, my friend, and he and I like both kind of like some horror movies, but like more like thriller kinds of things. But then like our wives less so. So I'm trying to think of like I need to find some scary-ish movie that we can watch tonight because like I don't know, it doesn't happen that often, but nobody can give recommendations because we'll have already done it by the time you listen, so
too late.
Never mind.
Reach into the void and give him recommendations.
There you go. In the past. Were you gonna go forward to Alba?
Yes.
Okay, go for it. Yeah,
this game looks dope. I like it. I want to play it.
It reminds me of, I mean, different art style and stuff, but it reminds me of The Tourist, which I really enjoyed.
And this is the Monument Valley people. So this game's going to be good.
Yep. My sister-in-law loves Monument Valley like so much. And she's the one that got a Switch recently and was like, I need some more games for it, but I don't know what. I'm getting started.
Did you send her this?
I'm going to when it comes out for sure. So there you go. It's a fun time. But yeah, it looks fun. Like mini open world-ish, which again is kind of what reminds me of The Tourist as well. Same kind of idea there. So cool stuff.
Next is a Sony game.
Wait, why?
Because
was it on Sony?
Playism is a Sony company, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, so Gnosia, apparently what I've heard is like single player Among Us, where there's a bunch of different characters, and I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna read the thing because I still don't fully understand what this one is. In this one one-of-a-kind sci-fi adventure. A spaceship is overtaken by aliens who can take the form of humans. Meet
That's
an
something else.
eclectic cast. Meet an eclectic cast of characters and help unravel their mysteries in a fascinating narrative spin on the social deduction genre, where you play against up to 14 NPCs. Okay, sure enough. Overcome your fears when it launches in early 2020.
What's the freaking offshoot?
So it's not a Sony company?
No, but they have something that's like that. Like that's the name of their like. But I can't think of what the freaking company.
I remember there was a music player or something.
Yeah,
too.
but that's what I was talking. Yeah. It's like they do like rhythm games or something, and they publish.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Switch. And I remember there was like articles. There was like PlayStation's going to start publishing games on Switch.
I remember that. That was like
I don't remember what they're called though.
Year or two ago.
Something similar to this, I think.
Yep. Cool. And then there was a highlight reel or a sizzle reel that had, I don't remember what this one even is. When the Past Was Around, which apparently is already out.
What type of title is that?
What even is? Oh, I remember this one a little bit. It's like artsy.
I can tell just by the name.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it reminds me, I played, I don't remember what it was called. It reminds me a bit of like the Gardens Between, that kind of a thing, except for not. It's there was some game that I played a demo for earlier this year and I completely forgot the name, but it's reminding me a bit of that. So that doesn't help anybody except for me. But there it is. When the Past Was Around. It's like a pretty looking game that what's this genre called? Where you're clicking on things.
Oh, point and click.
It's a point and click
adventure.
Puzzler, I guess, or something.
Puzzler, sure.
Sure.
Which I mean, it's usually the same thing.
Yeah.
Like there's usually puzzles and point and click adventures. They're like dumb, but
yeah,
they're there.
So dumb. And then also Finding Paradise. Don't remember what that is. I'll take a look in a second. Hazel Sky, Hoa, Cosmocrats, and Trash Sailors. I only remember what Hoa is from those, but I remember liking some of the ones that I saw in this. Honestly, and we're about to talk about it in general, this was a really solid, like, none of the individual games I was like, oh, that game, no way, anything like that. But all of them, like, besides Happy Game, just not for me specifically, and Fisty Fluffs and Calico, not specifically for me. But everything else is like, no, that's all. Oh, Finding Paradise. Yeah, that looks dope. That's
I think that, like, especially for a format like this, like with Indie World specifically, since it's harder to be like, oh, that random game by that studio that I don't know, it looks cool or whatever, but like, I don't know, like in the same way that like before I played Celeste and before Bob played Celeste, we're like, oh, whatever. But
right,
yeah, exactly. We're like, oh, this game's amazing. Like you really just need one game.
Yeah.
Like a known quantity. And there's like 4 of those because there's Among Us, and then there's Spelunky 1 and 2, and then there's
Super Meat Boy Forever.
And Cyber Shadow. I feel like it's, even though that's not developed by Yacht Club, it's like it's published by them, and I'm sure they like have a very like Nintendo like relationship where it's like it's published by us and we're not making the game, but we're kind of like helping.
I mean, that's like Coat Sync even with Fogs and stuff, where they told us that like Fogs was developed by, I don't remember, another company, but then they came alongside them and like supported them with it as they became the publisher and stuff. So like obviously there's indie publishers that like kind of get in the weeds and make sure to help direct it in that same way that you just said like Nintendo does.
Right.
So
I think that this Direct did that really well. And then it also had the like a good amount of like from the makers like out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing too is like with indie worlds in general is you kind of, I guess to some degree just have to, or don't have to, but can choose to trust the things that like, if it's put in an indie world, it's probably at least this level of quality, which that said, that's definitely not always the case, because sometimes it just means it's at least this level of quality of proof of concept. Like I talked about Gleamlight in my video this week, and that game was in an indie direct, and I could see how if you got just like a vertical slice of that game, or whatever term it is, but like if you just played a sliver of it, it could seem like it's better than what the whole thing is, just because like you don't know how these 3 connected rooms play in context of the whole game, but then when you know what the whole thing is, it changes, the fact that like, oh, it's super, super linear and all that. But otherwise, I kind of feel like, yeah, like just most games that turn up in these indie worlds end up being at least pretty good, if not great. But then also just listen to people like us who have played them if you want to find out, or other people, and get some opinions. Yep. So that was the indie world. Yeah. Overall thoughts. Well, how would you rate it out of 10 if you had to? You do have to.
8.57.
Nice. Yeah, I'd give it a solid like 8, something like that. Just because I think the big one, Among Us, for me still felt like just a non-announcement, but at the same time, it is a big deal, but it's just not. Like, it's such a weird, dichotomy of stuff. But otherwise, this week we also made some videos, and you guys left some comments on those.
When we start doing
about those? Yeah, it's this new thing that we thought would be fun. Any thoughts on your video before we get into it?
Yeah, man, games are great. I played a lot of games this year, dude, and some of them made me stop playing Smash Brothers, and
other ones
didn't.
Not. That's true. It's true indeed. Chamushgu. I like it. Said, I feel silly saying this, but my game of the year is Cat Quest. I know the game didn't come out this year, but the Possum Pack for the Switch did, so I made an exception. But I was surprised at how addicting and fun that game turned out to be for me.
I pulled this because I like when people have game that, like, their favorite games are like not generic.
Yeah.
This is very not. so it's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I pulled this. I never played this game.
This one, I've definitely thought about playing it before. I've seen it. I remember seeing people playing it because it was like, I think in 2017 or early 2018 or something like that, when like good indie games was still just like a novelty on the Switch or whatever, that like, oh, there's some really good indie games on here. So I remember Cat Quest was one of the early ones like that as well. And I'm curious though what the Possum Pack is, if it's just like some additional single player DLC, or if it's, I assume it's single player, or if it's maybe like, I don't know, more recurring stuff, because that would be interesting if like, say the game is 10 hours, the like base game, and they add some DLC that's like 2 hours long. That would be
Quest plus Cat Quest 2 Possum Pack.
Oh, okay. So it's with both of them in there, because I knew there was a second one too. That makes sense then. Yeah. Honestly, again, like I said, those games always looked cool to me, but I just never got around to picking them up. So they've been on my wish list, so I always see them go on sale, and then I'm like, hey, I'll get something else, or just nothing.
I still don't wish list things. And I guess I feel bad for that now, because that's like what developers are like, especially indie devs. They're like, wish list, add us to your wish list.
Does that interesting? Do you think they use that as metrics to like gauge?
Yep. But I say that, and then I think about Cyberpunk, and I'm like, maybe not. Like maybe I don't feel bad, because it's like, I don't think that they should. Obviously, they got like companies got to be able to gauge like how impactful their thing may be, and that could make it better, but it also can make it worse. Yeah. So it's like,
if they rush it out because there's so many people interested, and like people are taking,
or they
it
just
off their
grow to
wish
be
list
complicit, and they're like, complacent, and they're like,
and complicit.
It's true. At the end of the day, if you're one, you're probably both. They're like, oh, we already got 4 million people, so who cares? Like those copies are already out the door. You mean we got to try to make the game good for those people? I don't think so.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that about wish list stuff. So yeah, but I've got some of my wish list. Some of it though has been on there since like, for 2 years, and I just keep not doing anything about it because at this point it's just not, I hate that I want to play games that are just a little bit relevant. Like I've always thought Owlboy looked just really pretty and looks like it would be cool, but I've also heard just enough reviews that were like, it was quite good, but not like as good. Yeah, right. So like I think it's one of those where like the graphic, like the art style and sprite art and stuff like that is beautiful, and then the gameplay is like you know, it's fun gameplay, but there's like, it's lacking a little bit in this area or that area. So there's a bunch of games like that where I just like haven't quite pulled the trigger. But Chronically Cal certainly has, when he said, my game of the year is probably Spiritfarer. The gameplay is chill, which I adore. The visuals are gorgeous, and the story is a solid 10 out of 10, in my opinion, and made me cry multiple times. I was going to write more and then got to where Parker mentions it, so maybe I'll save my further thoughts for a Thursday comment. LOL.
Did he?
I don't think so. Let me go back and check, but I didn't remember seeing one from Chronically Cal on that video. But I'll go and check. But yeah, Spiritfarer it's so good. I really, really enjoyed it, as you could tell from, you know.
But you're dead, and that's messed up.
So the interesting thing for me, though, I realized in retrospect that I didn't talk about it in my, you know, review of it or whatever. The part about it being as sad and emotional, and like, that's like I talked about, you know, interacting with the NPCs and the characters and stuff, but I have such a hard time immersing myself in, I think especially games. Well, yeah, but especially games, I have a hard time immersing myself in like the character and not seeing it as like, oh, this game design element and this blah, 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 you know, like shows and movies have a little bit better.
That's a twist. You're dead inside.
So yeah, so that's one of those things where like I would like see moments and be like, this is a really sad moment, but it wouldn't like, you know,
this
tug at my heartstrings.
Really sad. This part of the script is a tear, you know.
Yeah. So I think that, you know, that has nothing to do with the game designers. Actually, the only game that's made me cry was a certain part
Barbie's
in Ori.
Dreamhouse 3.
Barbie's Dreamhouse 3. It's but yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm finding out right now. Barbie's Dream House 3. No, it's not. Sad. Oh, that's what makes me cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, it's Ori and the Blind Forest is the only game that like that did it. But
yeah, man, if only the forest could see. That's messed up.
What is
I still gotta freaking beat that game.
Yep. It's good. It's fun. It's not super long either, so like you could do it in, you know, 2 or 3 playthroughs.
But
if you play
Metroidvanias make me tired.
No, I'm joking. Alec is baking. Says, I'm gonna say something really shocking here. Yes, you are. My game of the year is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Gasp! That's the one with the Smash Brothers characters in it.
Oh, that is the one. It was so great to return to characters in a world I grew up loving, but now with the visuals they deserved. The music is amazing, the combat is great, and I can't wait to see how the story continues to change.
Yo,
yeah,
but like Cloud's a jerk though. I was like, damn, Cloud sucks.
Oh yeah, you played that game. I forgot about that.
I mean, I didn't play the whole thing. I played like 10 hours, which is like, you know, freaking a weeb would scoff at me.
In that game, though, wasn't that game not super...
I think it's like 30 hours long.
Okay. Which, I mean, is, you know, for an RPG, yeah, that's short, but for like any other kind of game, that's like...
Yeah. Oh, for me it's way too long for a game like that, like a narrative game. You got me for 15 hours tops. It's like, I'm trying to be done.
I do have a hard time. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I loved Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It was great. But there were also so many cutscenes that it's like
so long. I put 16 hours into that game, dude. That was an hour longer than my usual threshold.
Yeah, it was just like I think the worst feeling with the way that I like to play on the Switch, which is just very like pick up and play just random times, would be that I'd pick up the game and then like start to play and it would just be a cutscene. And then I'd be like, well, I need to go now. And the cutscene wouldn't be done yet. I'm like, well, that was good. And so I think that's really, like I said it before, I think this year with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and why I don't think I resonated quite as much with that game as some other people did, or as much as I did with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, was at the time of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that was the only game that I like was playing at the time because it was earlier on the Switch life cycle, but also like not doing this, I just would focus on one game at a time and not worry about it. so it was easier to like fully focus my attention. Whereas I think with Xenoblade Chronicles, if there was a long cutscene, like part of me would probably be like, I could just be playing something else, or I'm actually playing something.
Is like, we should have spent more time talking about that, because it's like your first year, like your full first year of doing this. So it's like, how has that changed how you play games? Because like I can't even quantify how it changed how I play games, because like it's kind of like a catch-22 sort of situation, you know? Like the channel's pace was set by how I play games. Almost, you know, where it's like, when we were just starting out, we could talk about whatever we wanted, really, because like nobody was watching it. So it's like, just talk about what people will watch until people are watching, and then that's what you continue to talk about, you know? So I didn't really have to change my habits or anything like that. I think that if I wasn't doing this, I would probably play more games, but I don't know if I would like spend more time on games that I don't like, you know, like, and I think like that's kind of like the opposite almost of like what people would expect for people that like talk about games, not even necessary for a living, but on a regular basis for an audience. That like you're going to finish the game because like I gotta tell my audience about it. But like for me, that makes me not want to finish games that I don't like. Like, I don't want to spend time on this game just to tell people that I spent 20 hours on something that I don't like and complain about how much I didn't like it. Well,
and that's, I guess the fact that we don't really do reviews is, you know, a large part of that. Whereas, like you said, it makes sense that like, because that you informed how the channel operates in terms of talking about games and reviews and that kind of stuff. Whereas my mindset still is, I think, tainted by like places that do reviews and that kind of thing, to where like part of me feels like if I get a game, then I'm like, I owe it not so much to the audience, like to all you guys, like you don't necessarily care to hear about this specific game or this other one perhaps, but I feel like I owe it more to the developer and the publishers to like do the thing that's expected of me, just because that's how I operate in life. And I hate it so much.
I agree with that. But I also, and I talk about this a lot too, where it's like I put that thought into it beforehand, you know? Where it's like, if I'm going to ask for this code, it needs to be a game that I care about enough to want to finish. And there's games that like I paid for that I probably didn't have to, like Kirby Star Allies is a great example, because like that game came out when I like almost the week that I became a Nintendo brand ambassador. So I could have asked for it, but I didn't. And I bought the game and I was like, I don't like this game. It's not good, you know, like, so like if there's like a game that like I cared a lot about beforehand and then it comes out and I don't like it, I'm going to play as much of it as possible to justify that. It's like, this is why I don't like this thing. But if I know I'm not going to like something, it doesn't like make me want to play it more that like a developer sent me. Whatever, you know.
I think at the same time, there also have been enough games for me that I that I've played a little bit of. And if I just stopped when I initially thought, I don't know how I feel about this, then I would have felt like I didn't like it. But then once I actually play a little bit longer, like even short games, like I feel like when I first started Superliminal, one of the other ones that I talked about, the like way beginning of it, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. Like, I feel like the promise is cool, but like maybe it's not going to be that great. And I only got to play like a couple minutes right at the beginning. Then I'd go like make dinner or something. If I had stopped literally right then like, yeah, obviously I would have been like, yeah, this game's not that great. But then when I played the rest of the thing, and like, especially towards the last couple chapters of it or whatever, where they start to do some more interesting, the whole thing has some interesting bits, but when they continue to change what the game's about and all that, then that really, you know, changed my tune on the game in general. So it is interesting, to think about how playing through to the end anyway, you know, helps me know more about like, you know, what games have to offer sometimes. But yeah, that's interesting. Just how it's different. And I mean, definitely having more games to play makes all this more complicated, where like I already feel responsible for things in my life oftentimes. And so now games can fit into being part of that. Like I'm having fun playing Immortals Phoenix Rising because I already did a video about it, so I don't have to play any more of it if I don't want to. But then there are other games that I do feel a little bit more responsible to, like, I've got to go finish my backlog because it was a
true
or something.
So
like,
you kind of almost already had that.
100%.
Because like
I just had fewer games to do it with.
Because I never thought about games like that. I never was like, I have to finish this game. I don't like it or like whatever, but I spent money. I'm like, I spent money on this, so I reserve the right to not play it anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, it's the whole, like, you know, finish everything on your plate kind of mentality that's just spilled into the rest of my life. So it's just a personal trait, flaw, call it what you will, but
that's perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, last comment from your video. This is Grimhane. Hey, Grimhane.
The return of the infamous Grimhane comment.
Yep. My favorite game on the Switch is Among Us. Hands down, zero doubt, best game for me this year. I feel it honestly saved my sanity with 2020 being 2020. I typically don't like PvP games, which excludes me from enjoying a lot of multiplayer games and certainly a lot of the popular ones. Among Us is one of the rare gems that I love and lets me play with others while also not getting stale. Number 2 would be Pokemon for the reasons AJ gave, though I've not yet delved into the second DLC pack. It's just a solid game overall, and the DLC was a welcome change in my eyes. Third would be Fall Guys, if only for the social media account. That's literally what made me get this game on PlayStation, even though it was free on PS Plus. My version of PvP games had me put off getting it. But the social media account, specifically Twitter, was just too amazing. So I snagged game, and it's fun. I wish they would bring it to Switch, and I'm honestly surprised Among Us beat them to Switch, but it's still a fun game. I agree. I kind of thought.
I think that it's a contractual thing.
Yeah, for sure. Fourth is Animal Crossing, which occupied most of my March through May of 2020. I've fallen off with the game, but I feel like that's more due to 2020 allowing so much playtime early on for the game. Nintendo's been good about providing content updates, but they can't possibly have been expected to keep pace when people could play all day for months and months. And closing out my list at number 5 is Clubhouse games. Again, I generally dislike PvP games, but these are just board games. I'd put it higher in my list, except that you absolutely need 4 people to play to even play most of the games in this collection.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I mean, placing wise, but I agree with the assessment on all of those.
Right. Yep. Yeah, good picks. Yeah, I still really like Clubhouse games. I think it's just a good pack. It's one of those where, like, it's a nice resource to have that, like, I'm just not going to use all the time, but it's just nice to be like, got
Clubhouse for. It was never a thing of like, man, I'm going to play so much Clubhouse games. It was just like, if I want to play whatever board game and I don't have the board game, I have the board game now, right. Like,
and you don't have to debate about, like, so but this is how I play backgammon and this is how I play backgammon.
Like, that's not the rule. It's just like the game decides the rules for us. It's right there.
Yeah. That was like, so my DM for Dungeons and Dragons, he was saying he really likes to play chess a lot, and his nephew, I guess, is getting into chess, and he's like 10 or something. And there's some move that, like, any higher level chess player 100% knows, but a lot of lower player chess players just don't. It's kind of similar to the whole the king, where you can switch the king and the rook move, but instead it's called passing pawn or passing something. And the long story short is, if I have a pawn coming at you and it's in the spot where if you were to move forward your pawn just one, and then you could take a diagonal, then you can just, for whatever reason, the rules say you can just move your pawn forward 2 and just take my pawn, as if for some reason you had, like, move forward 1, taken it, and then move forward another one, which doesn't, like, logistically make sense, but it's just a thing to punish, like, hey, you weren't paying attention, you can do that. Any case, long story short, he obviously knew about this move because he knows how to play chess, and his cousin, his nephew, who's really getting into it, they were playing against each other. He did that move to him, although they were playing, like, online on an app or something like that, and the cousin flipped out, or the nephew, why do I keep saying cousin? The dude flipped out. He's like, you can't do it, you cheated, you can't do it because you cheated, you can't do that. And he's like, well, the thing let me do it. It's obviously a thing. And he's like, you hacked it. Somehow you hacked it and you broke it, and you cheated and you hacked it. And it's like, and he was just like, you need to learn some stuff, which is like just so fun when
I am not so much like it's not a direct thing that happens to me now, but that was like something that I only experienced with Yu-Gi-Oh specifically because it's like the phrasing of certain cards. It's like, well, you can do this thing, and like some people may interpret that as like, well, this happens first, and it's like, no, this happens in this order, and it's because this, and this, and blah blah blah, and I don't gotta worry about none of that because it's in the game. It's like the game just sorts all that crap out. Like,
oh, man. Yeah, that's I totally feel it. There's a card game called Ascension that's like a deck building kind of game. And it has a free app that you can play it on there, play it against bots or against your friends or whatever. And so I downloaded it on there, and same kind of thing. Yeah, it lets you, do everything, and you don't have to think about it. If you press something that makes something else happen, it just does it for you. The only downside is every once in a while you like accidentally click something that you didn't mean to, and you can't be like, I didn't mean to do that. So, but then we played it. So Chris and I, because we were both playing it, he got the actual like card packs that exist, the same exact decks that we were playing with on the game, and it didn't keep track of all that. And I was like, I am so overwhelmed. Like I do not know what's going on, because I had to keep track of so many things all by my lonesome. But speaking of my lonesome, not really, just me. I made a video, and you were in it too, and so it wasn't.
It's true.
And it was about.
I was going to do like I forgot. I didn't even realize that Falls was going to be a part of this. I would have talked about Falls, but it was too late, and I didn't want to like do all the extra stuff of like making it sound good.
Oh yeah.
So it was like I'm just going to stick to Fall. I mean, stick to freaking. I was about to say Fall Guys. Stick to Among Us. But yeah, man.
Yeah, Fog's cool. Some comments. Cool said, all around great games. Not that I'm personally a fan of Fall Guys, but I hope that the PlayStation deal ends sometime soon for the game's sake. I genuinely believe that if the deal weren't this long, it would have remained as relevant as when it had launched. I know they said that the PS Plus offer helped them a lot, but I feel like it hurt them in the long term. Time to stare into the void while I wait for Sakurai Presents Sephiroth so I can see what me costumes are being added. That's literally the only reason why I'm watching it.
That's wild.
Hope you were happy about Genos and not sad about Genos. Genos.
I was like,
I don't know what I'm doing. I was just watching One Punch Man, and Genos is a character in that. So maybe that's what
I see. I don't know why this reminded me of this, but I was cracking up at Alex's comment on here about the Willow thing of like you like lasering in on that and me being like, what even? Like,
oh, that made me so happy. And he's like, that was the most Fanatics4 energy I could imagine. It was like, yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, it is.
Very accurate.
But yeah, I definitely see what you mean. I don't know. It depends on how they come back around. I feel like with the next seasons and once it does come out on other things, what that looks like and all that. But yeah, it definitely feels like I think a lot of things in 2020 just because of the way of the world have just like peaked super fast and then dropped pretty fast as well.
I think Fall Guys kind of lasted longer than I would have expected it to, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially since their pacing sucked. Like I mean, for the current, like scene, because Call of Duty Warzone came out this year and it's on like its 7th season, and Fall Guys is like on its 2nd and almost on its 3rd. It's like they're teasing their 3rd now. It's like,
yeah,
dude, and a lot of the baseline stuff, like custom lobbies, is still not in the game. It's like, right. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I guess it's just different enough that like that it keeps people's interest that way, but like, I mean, I went over to Mitch's house a couple weeks ago and he was still playing Fall Guys. So like would pull it up and just like, it's pretty low energy, I guess, as far as like, I just play a game or two. So that probably helps, but it does seem like it is dropping out of kind of the social.
I think I would definitely play it more if it was on my Switch.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, it's not, and I say that, but the only time I actually played it was during streams. I never like of my own accord. It's like, I feel like playing Fall Guys, and like not even a thing of like, I want to stream Fall Guys. It would be like, yo, like, I mean, I wanted to play the game because we played it at PAX and it was cool then or whatever, but it's almost always Bob being like, yo, I'm streaming Fall Guys, get in here. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
It's fun. But I think that I would play it just on my own, removed from all that, if it was on Switch, because it's enough for me to be like, I gotta freaking unplug my PlayStation HDMI and I don't know, like I need a splitter, but I'm waiting until a 2.1 HDMI splitter comes out because I'm gonna be mad if I get one now and then the 2.1 comes out and then I gotta buy another one and it's like, ugh, you know.
I know, it's so true. Next comment, this is from Pack Blitzy, who left a couple comments, and they were all very fun, who said, Superliminal is an amazing game. There's so many different puzzle mechanics that just blew my mind. I agree. It was very fun. And then continued in a different comment, but I put it here anyway, said, I'm honestly not sure which of these games came out this year or not, but here are a few of my favorite indies I played in 2020. Superliminal, What the Golf. You played that one, right?
Oh my God, they did come out this year. That game's good. I like that game.
Untitled Goose Game, also a good old time. It did not. The Tourist also came out right at the end of last year.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I've also got a couple in my backlog that I know I'll love. The Last Campfire, Super Meat Boy, Undertale, and Celeste.
I don't know what The Last Campfire is, I don't think. But...
I'd like to check out The Last Campfire. I've had it on my radar for a bit, but it looks like, I don't know, it's really pretty. Kind of like little... I don't know how to describe it. You can look it up, man. It looks like a something, but it looks cool. In any case, kind of like a slower paced, maybe puzzle game for the most part, I would guess. But yeah, good list. And then it said, edit. I'm playing When the Past Was Around demo, and it's really fun. Oh, it's got a demo. Okay, that's good.
Nice.
It's a cool puzzle game that was a same day release last week from the Indie Direct.
Sick.
Nice.
I still hate that name. I hate it.
I either feel neutral about it or I really like it, and I'm not sure. I think I like the name, to be honest.
I dislike it. When the past was around, it literally just means an hour ago.
Yeah. I think for me, it gives me very like early 2000s screamo song name vibes. And I mean, we all know me. That's me, you know.
It just feels super pretentious. Like past when the past was around seems like somebody thinks that they're being super deep. It's like I hate that name so much.
And the other thing it reminds me of now that you
I can see that name in person form is the thing.
It reminds me. There's a clip in the Simpsons. It's an episode. It's a flashback episode of when when Homer. What am I doing? When Homer, I know. Was in a barbershop quartet. Somehow I mixed that up in my brain. I guess he was in a barbershop quartet, and they're like, "Well, we need to come up with a name," and they're like, "We need something catchy that gets less interesting every time you hear it," or something like that. And then they come up with the B sharps, because there's no such thing as B sharp. It's just C, although depending on the key, there could be B sharps. But which is like, I just like the premise of like something catchy that loses flavor over time kind of thing. And I feel like this is exactly that. It's like the first time it's like, wow, when the past was around. Oh, wow. And eventually, I don't know, when the past was around. Cool. Fun.
I hate it.
So there it is. Last comment, this is from John Francis, and I picked this one specifically because it'll come back up later in the Q&A segment. He lists lots of games, indies for me that I love or in general that I've played. I'm just going to read all of them, so we won't say any commentary because there's so many. Enter and Exit the Gungeon, those two games. Hades, Dead Cells, Moonlighter, Bastion, Brawlhalla, Death and Taxes, Dex, Dust and Elysian Tale, Freedom Planet, Grease, Hollow Knight, Where the Blazes is Silk Song, man. Hyperlight Drifter, Katana Zero, Mad Carnage, Moon Hunters, Ori, period. He's cute and squish, and I want to pinch his cheeks, and OMG. Rhyme, Rocket Fist, Shantae, Slay the Spire, Spellbreak. See AJ's video for my feels on this one. Wait, what? Did you make a video on Spellbreak?
No. But I think he means my video from this week.
Oh, I see. I played a little bit of that one. But Stardew Valley, The Complex, The Messenger, Transistor, Ukulele, and I don't know if Octopath Traveler is an indie or just looks like one from the art style, but if it was, yeah, looks cool. Only did chapter 1.
Tis not. But I mean, it's a team within Square Enix that does like normally slightly. Yeah, no. But it's a Square Enix.
Oh, it's definitely not. Yeah, 100% not. Is it the same team though? No, it's not. It's the same team as Bravely Default Games, but not the same team as I'm Setsuna and stuff. That's
I think
something.
Sure it's different. It's like Tokyo RPG Factory.
Yeah, that's the one. You got it. Sounds right. So yeah, there's a bunch of games. Most of those I'm at least familiar with. There's a couple. Dex, I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Rocket Fist.
Death and Taxes.
I don't know that either.
I don't know.
Mad Carnage.
Oh no, I don't know that one. And Moon Hunters. What is that?
I don't know. But yeah, most of these. I mean, these are a bunch of classics. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There's a bunch of games. All right, and that's it from the comments for our videos. And now we get into what always feels like, wow, we just moved through it so fast. And then I look at the timestamps, and the amount of time we spend on Q&A is literally the same amount of time as the whole rest of the podcast before.
Yes.
Just because there's so many questions. So here we go. YouTube community.
Good.
It is good. It's very fun.
That's what the show's for. That's why it's called Directly to You, literally.
Yep. So Ian Pittman asks, was Parker right about an indie direct after the Game Awards? Yes. Yes, he was.
It's true. It's true. He was.
We did it, team. Good job. Yeah, that was fun.
It's fun for me to be right.
I mean, and I had either 100% or a 0% chance of being right. And so
True.
Which I know that's not how percentages work until after the fact, but it was fun that it was the 100%. You know what I'm saying? Go Fish Goldfish said, hey guys, thanks for the vids this week. Do you consider Bayonetta 2 a Christmas game?
This is a diehard thing.
Yeah, right. It is. I've not played Bayonetta 2. All I know of it that references this in this context is I know like in the opening cutscene, she's like coming out of a toy store or something like that. Is it around Christmas?
Well, it's not. I don't think it's a toy store. She has a bunch of crap. She went shopping, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Why did I think toy store?
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself 2020.
It was colorful boxes.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. So yes, 100% Christmas game. I've thought it all along. Before it even came out, I was like, you know, it would be a great Christmas game.
A sequel to Bayonetta. That would make a perfect Christmas game.
Cody Simpson, what do you want to see for Nintendo's 2021 plans?
I want
to see them. Just written out. Just
right
there.
On paper. No, I want it on like their freaking like E3 leaked documents. Like that's what I want. I want it to like actually be their actual real plans, but on one of those documents, so nobody believes it. It's just like the 4chan leak before the Switch came out, where it's like people saw ARMS on there and they're like, "That's fake. They're not gonna have a game called ARMS," and it was real. They literally just had everything on that freaking thing. But it wasn't on one of those like fake, you know, like documents that's like made up to look super official. It was just listed.
My favorite of those, I like E3 2018, I think it was, where
freaking
there was
Yoshi's flipping world.
Yoshi's flipping island or something like that.
So stupid.
That whole thing, like I think it was that same document that like had just a bunch that at first glance you're like, yeah, I mean this. I guess like this kind of thing could happen. And then I remember Alex from Nintendo Life put out a video of him just reading through it and pointing out some of the discrepancies that like, as you look closely at it, it's super obvious. So like there's 7 exclamation marks at the end of Punch Out the New Fighter or something like that. And like this other thing, you know, a bunch of typos,
just stuff that they would not do that. Because
exactly.
I don't want to get in the weeds, but like even when when there's emails about games and stuff from them, they freaking put the trademark and the rights reserved signs and all. Like they're not gonna have like discrepancies like that in a document like that.
No way. But yeah, what do you want to see from Nintendo's 2021 plans? Like 1 or 2 things.
Ice Climbers. I want a good Ice Climbers game. It's not gonna happen, but I want it, and I want the Pokemon Gen 4 remakes and the Sword and Shield engine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the ones for me are obvious. So I'm not going to say those ones, but I mean, yeah, like Golden Sun, Breath of the Wild 2, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But otherwise, Star Fox, I think would be cool. Like, I'd like to see the return of some IP that's not a Mario sports game, unless that's not Mario Golf. Like, I'm not that I don't want to see Mario Golf, but like Mario Golf doesn't count as a return of an IP.
Yeah, because we got one
It's no,
5 years ago or something like that.
So a return of a slightly dormant IP is what I would like to see.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah. There it is.
Steve!
What if we just got a Nintendo developed Steve game?
Yeah, that'd be wild, dude.
Yep. It's just a platformer for no good reason. So yeah, that's it. I think that's the main thing for me. It's just return of some IP. Did we have any? I'm trying to think, like 2020 or 2020.
What do you mean? Any new IP?
Any like dormant IPs or whatever that came back?
Paper Mario.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess maybe Paper Mario wouldn't quite be dormant since it was on the Wii U and like it's technically been on everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I think we weren't positive after Color Splash and Sticker Star if it was coming back. So that was definitely a surprise in that regard. Clubhouse technically counts because there's only been one other one. So yeah.
Pikmin
3. Yeah, I mean, yeah, honestly. Yeah. So okay, cool. This is Oscar said, give us a good scream for the podcast.
Does Steve count? I said Steve.
Maybe so. And maybe I'm curious the context of this because it could mean any kind of things. It could also mean like scream in context of like metal music and stuff. And if that's the case, not right now.
We don't got the compression and limiters for that.
And I'm not warmed up at all. But you know what? Sometimes I'm still working on music very, very slowly. So that's a fun thing. One of our subscribers knows about. So that's fun. Cool says, assuming Nintendo celebrates the Zelda anniversary the same way they did with Mario, what 3-in-1 collection do you see coming? What would be ported with added content, and what would the toy be?
Yo, a toy?
Yeah.
Toy.
Crossbow training, something. I feel like that's the something, you know. Okay. Hang on. It's a crossbow and it has something that holds this. It's a terrible idea. Like, don't do this.
It's
but
like
it holds the Switch screen
scope?
on it. Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
it's like the Wii U zapper.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess.
Wait, you didn't see that? The concept trailer with the Wii U and like they had the Wii U like gamepad and that gun, and it like they pointed at Miyamoto's Wii, and he's like, oh. Like,
I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking. So yes, that crossbow training with that somehow, you know, probably, I mean, maybe with like an AR camera on there to do something with the room as well, or not with an AR camera. And it's just like, you know, the gyro from the thing showing whatever's on the screen. That's the toy.
I want a game. Well, for the collection, I guess they would just do the same thing. Like they would do freaking like Ocarina of Time, I guess, and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Yeah, probably. I feel like that would be the safe bet for sure, because that's like the 3 pinnacle like, 3D ones or whatever. Even though,
but like Zelda is very different from Mario in the sense that Zelda almost always had multiple iterations on every console but the SNES.
Yeah.
So and Wii U, but even Wii U kind of, because it got the ports. So
yeah. And then what would be ported? I think Skyward Sword. Yeah, is the easy answer there.
Yes. Skyward Sword would be the 3D world equivalent.
I still hope in a couple of years we get Oracle of Seasons and Ages and stuff, and like maybe, you know, a double pack with those. That would be cool. Maybe they even throw in
before. Well, they didn't do anything to them, but they put it on 3DS.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking like
like a remake,
Link's Awakening sort of styling to it.
And Link to the Past, like Link's Awakening.
I mean, I've said before too, it would be cool. I still, like, in the back of my mind, I want to make a video about this, but I don't know if I have enough ideas because I haven't played the original game. But the like Zelda 2 concepts that would be fun to see in Breath of the Wild 2, something like that, because like
Zelda, it's on the Nintendo.
I know, I just need to do it. I played like 20 minutes of it one time and I was like, I'll do this later. But I don't know, like that would just be fun because obviously Breath of the Wild is heavily inspired by the concepts of Zelda 1. So especially if Breath of the Wild 2 is very dungeon based, if there's like lots of concepts from Zelda 2 that is also very dungeon based, some of that. That's what I'm saying. Moving along. Mara Winter says, not gaming related, but if you celebrate Christmas, what's your favorite Christmas song? Also, what's on your wish list? Any games? I do celebrate Christmas, and
I don't know. I think like Christmas music for me is very like it's there, you know? Like there's people that are like freaking hype for Christmas music, and then there's people that hate Christmas music, and then there's people that tolerate Christmas music. I'm right there, you know? Where it's like I'm not against Christmas music, but I'm not like, yo, I need to listen to freaking
It's hard to say. It's like gonna crank up some jingle bells. Yeah, it's hard to say too with Christmas music because there's so many iterations of every single song that like if I say like, man, I really like Oh Holy Night, then like you'll be like, oh, you really like Oh Holy Night, the stars by Alicia, or like some dumb version or something, you know. But like at the same time, there's also really good versions of it, and that whole thing. So like, it's hard to say because like the melodies as they are is just melodies, and the lyrics are just lyrics. So like, you know, Little Drummer Boy has some really silly lyrics in there. So I don't know if that could ever make the top of my list, even the best versions of it. But yeah, so it's hard to say because for that reason. I'm gonna say O Come O Come Emmanuel. I mean, as far as Christmas stuff goes, I'm more of a fan of like the like more hymny kinds of carol-y stuff rather than like, you know, Santa Claus is coming to town.
Freaking red-nosed Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
Also, though, I will say, a couple of years ago at our office Christmas party, a couple people we played some Christmas songs and it was fun. And we did a version of Sleigh Ride that I still think I want to record this sometime because it was like a halftime version that felt like super groovy. I feel it was like instead of like it's like and I was like, this is fun. So sometime
this is a jam.
It was good. Any games on your wish list, AJ?
No, don't get me games ever.
I got Pikmin 3. That's on mine. And that's pretty much it as far as games. Like, I mean, it's possible that Ashley will find something that she's like, oh, maybe Parker will like this game, but like, I don't know, maybe not at the same time. So we'll see. From Twitter, questions from Twitter. Duncan said, happy holidays, boys. Do y'all have any memories or any movies or shows that you traditionally watch around this time of year? If so, is there a story behind why? Yes.
I mean, it changed for me after my niece was born. Because at that point, it's just like whatever she wants to watch. Like, so
are there any still? Because she's what, 9 now?
She's about to turn 10. But okay. Yeah, she's 9 right now.
Are there any that have stuck? Because I'm sure some, you know, like a Mickey Mouse Christmas, like she's not watching a Mickey Mouse Christmas anymore. But like, or maybe I don't know age.
I think the one that always comes on, and it's not anything because I don't watch things, so it's not something I'm like, yo, let's watch this. But the freaking like Rudolph, like the claymation, like that. I think gets turned on all the time, and it's not because I want to watch it.
That's funny. Mine for sure is, I might have said this before on here, and I feel like I have, but A Christmas Story.
Yo, I still have never seen that. Never seen that.
I mean, like, you don't love movies, so like, you know, whatever. But it's severely underrated, I feel like, in the States. only
I
because
always hear people talking about it though. Like, I always
yeah,
hear,
well, the
like,
thing is, like, it comes on TV all the time.
it's
So
one
I
of those
haven't.
movies that, like, me as somebody that doesn't watch movies,
Yeah.
whenever I'm saying I never saw it, people are like, what? Like, dude, how could you not? And I'm like, it's easy. You just don't watch movies. Like, it's that simple.
But like, I don't know. I feel like because it comes on, people will see bits and pieces of it. And like, it's one of those that doesn't, like, individual scenes are like funny, but it's like recurring. The way that the story is woven together is really good. And there's like little subtleties that, like, I've watched that movie every single Christmas since I was born, except for one year when I was 13, when we moved to Belgium and we didn't have the DVD ship in time with
I thought it was
a
like
bunch of
your
shipping stuff.
rebellious year. Like, I don't like this movie anymore.
No, I'm never gonna do it. No, I was still totally into it, and I was sad that I didn't get to watch it that year. But yeah, every year I'll watch it and find like new jokes that I missed the last time around, and it's like, it's just a well-made movie, I guess, is the idea. But I don't know. That's me. It's a fun one. My parents also really like It's a Wonderful Life, and I feel it, but it's one of those where, like, I don't know that
That's a Harvest
rewatching
Moon
it.
game.
Is it really?
Yes,
That's so funny.
it's true.
Oh, which Harvest Moon though? The like good
It's
one,
the one
or bad
on.
one? Is it back when Harvest Moon was the real Harvest Moon, or when the
Yes.
IP? Okay, gotcha. When it was like
it's on the
story
game-
seasons or
it's
whatever.
on the GameCube
Oh yeah. I think I've got
and
that one,
PlayStation
actually. I haven't
2.
played it,
And I don't know if it's on the Xbox. I don't think it's on the Xbox. I think it's just PlayStation 2, and it might be on the Xbox. I don't
but
know.
why did I think that was like a Nintendo exclusive franchise back in the day? That's weird. I mean, maybe just Animal Crossing Harvest Moon, like in my
I
mind.
think it was like a launch exclusive because I do remember I had it on GameCube and it said only for GameCube, but it's also on PlayStation 2.
Yep. So yeah, that's the story behind it. The real story behind A Christmas Story, I think, is that my parents there was a movie theater that was doing a double showing when they were dating of It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Story, and they watched both of those back to back, and then those just became like their Christmas tradition movies. So the one that stuck with me more of the two was A Christmas Story. But honestly, there's a bunch of really good Christmas movies.
Yeah,
Like, it's
the Player's Choice version even has the only for GameCube.
oh, interesting.
banner.
But is it still on PS2? Like, it came out for it
Yeah.
afterwards?
Yep. Weird. Very strange.
Next question. This is from Falcon, who said, AJ, did this happen to you growing up? And it had a GIF, and it was December birthdays and December Christmas or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I see it.
Something.
No, it did not. It's a black bear fusing with a polar bear, Christmas gift, birthday gift, and they fuse like the Dragon Ball Z fusion, and then it's a panda that says one gift. No, I was the entire opposite of that. Because like my family is like they're big on both, so it's like no, we're not freaking skimping on birthday or Christmas, and it's not your fault you were born near Christmas, so you get both. So it's like that would be like my play to get like the other Pokemon game, like if I got one, I would hit up my aunt and be like, yo, and this one, and I would get that for my birthday.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, my grandma's birthday. I know two people whose birthdays are on Christmas. My grandma and my sister's ex-boyfriend, and they were super poor, so I don't think they would have gotten many gifts anyway growing up. So I don't think that changed anything for her. And then my sister's ex-boyfriend was Norwegian, and they only did like one gift each anyway, so he would just get two gifts instead. So I was like, yeah, that's definitely different for me, where we're spending 3 hours giving gifts to everybody or whatever. So
the only
glad we did
thing that sucks, and this is just a northeastern thing. I mean, more places in the United States and other countries and stuff too, I guess. But because it snows where I grew up, that's the only thing that sucks about having my birthday near Christmas. Literally the only thing. Because like I want to spend money and do stuff, and it's snowing. Nobody wants to go anywhere when it's snowing, dude. And it's like that's the only thing that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, and even that, like the snowing, and probably also the fact that like, I don't know, Christmas feels like maybe a more cozy time, so it makes people a little more complacent to going places because they're like, I don't know. I'm just hanging out, man.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
not. I don't know. It's your experience, not mine. So.
I think it's more, at least I was told as a
Uh-huh.
child, it's like, it's snow outside. Did you see all the snow? And I'm like, friggin' so I was like, rip.
Moving on to Discord questions, we've got a very, very long one from John Francis, and here we go with it. He said, I left 30 indie games I've played on Parker's vid. I also downloaded Immortals Phoenix Rising because Parker said if I liked Breath of the Wild, I would like Immortals. Here are some thoughts, questions, etc. Number one, have you, Parker and AJ, played any of the games that I left on Parker's vid?
Yes, several of them, but like I don't know if we have time to run through all of them. Like I played this one, I didn't play this one, I played you know.
But
yes.
I mean, all in all, good list. Seems like many recommended games and a couple I haven't heard of. So good stuff. Number two, I only played a bit of Immortals so far, but it wasn't for me. Besides the thoughts in the Immortals review, what about Immortals made you think Breath of the Wild?
The structure of the game is very Breath of the Wild. And it just a lot of ways it feels less so like it's trying to be a carbon copy and more so a response to Breath of the Wild.
I totally
and that to me it makes sense that like if you played it and you're like, I don't like that, because it very much so depends on the parts of Breath of the Wild that you liked. And that resonated with you, because like I love Breath of the Wild, put freaking 250 some hours in Breath of the Wild or whatever, and I didn't really like Immortals Phoenix Rising that much either. It's fine, you know, but it wasn't my thing, because what I like most about Breath of the Wild is missing from that game.
Yeah, no, totally. I think I had thought of a really eloquent way of saying it a second ago and it fizzled away, but pretty much like as soon as in Immortals I jumped, I was like, okay, this is a different kind of game, because like it already felt like, and whereas in Breath of the Wild, it's like you can do a tiny little hop and stuff like that. Where this game, it was a big jump, and so like immediately already, I was like, this is just going to be. And then again, also as soon as I looked for ingredients and found the same thing several places, and it was like salmon and mushroom, and like there's only a couple ingredients.
Is just specifically the pomegranates, and the stamina is specifically just the mushrooms.
So it's helped me a lot to not think of it as being like a Breath of the Wild, in other than in just like, you know, there's just stuff to do all around, and there's, you know, different those kinds of, and like the mechanics, obviously there's a lot of very similar kinds of things like climbing and like being able to magnesis stuff and all those things. But the less I compare it specifically to Breath of the Wild, the more I enjoy it, I think. Because if I were thinking about all the things that it's missing, quote unquote, then I would be sad. But instead it's just doing things different, which I enjoy. But also I can definitely see how, even for all its similarities, if the things, like AJ said, if the things that you like are the things that happen to be different, then that, you know, might not hold up for everybody. Makes sense. Number three, what in Age of Calamity should be referenced / brought back for Breath of the Wild 2? In my opinion, the biggest answer to me was the weapon upgrade system. That's a tricky one to say, because as far as the weapon upgrade system, because it, without knowing things, it could break the game and be really unbalanced really easily, but maybe not, you know. But like the fact that you can find weapons everywhere means that it's better to have a limited quantity and not be able to just like, because otherwise in Breath of the Wild you could just kind of go around and just grind Boko clubs and just level all of them up into one super Boko club and really early on be way stronger than you should be. So like, I don't know if that's good, you know, but
I like the weapon. I like how weapons work in Breath of the Wild. I think the way that they could improve the loop and make people complain less is if there was some form of crafting. But even that, I think that should feel earned. It shouldn't just be this thing of like, it shouldn't be like a consolation prize where it's like, well, we're sorry we put weapon, you know, degradation in this game. I don't think it should be that. It should be part of the gameplay loop, because weapon degradation makes sense. It's like, I wish that things in the real life didn't break. You know? So, you know, like...
Yeah, for sure. It's funny.
But I
Otherwise,
don't know.
though,
I guess I don't know. I didn't play enough of freaking Age of Calamity yet.
Yep.
To
I haven't either. And today, for a little while before right before the podcast, we were looking after Asher and Nora, Chris and Steph's kids, and they're playing through Age of Calamity on my profile, but on their Switch. And so I think they just unlocked Hestu, which is pretty early on, I think, but I still haven't made it quite to there. And so Asher asked me, he's like, have you unlocked Hestu? And I said, no, not yet. And he was like, oh, when we go back to your house, I should show you some stuff and show you how to play the game. And I was like, okay, all right. That's not at all offensive. And I was like, I think I'm good. I just haven't played a lot. So, but I was like, and like, I understand how, a kid would think that. And also there's so many things that like, he'll ask, he's gotten super into Pokemon recently, like super into Pokemon.
Oh yeah. You talked about that a little bit.
And so he'll always ask these questions where he knows the answer. And
we're missing the Nintendo Direct, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right now. I forgot about that.
And Miyamoto's walking around.
Is he? Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
He's inside the Mario Kart castle.
Okay. We'll live react to that in between some things a little bit.
Okay, who's screen sharing it?
You go for it.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I need to pull up. Where is it? Okay, wait, there we go. I got it. Share screen. Bam, that one. Okay, can everybody see?
Yeah, I can see it
here, though.
That's true. I mean, we'll partly react to it unless if there's not anything.
It's the Japanese anyway. He's just talking.
Yeah.
We saw this. This is in a lot of the like pre-release like stuff.
I mean, it looks awesome. Like it looks Super Mario.
It's crazy how like
accidentally
much it looks like Mario.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look like out of place in a weird way.
Right. Yeah.
Like even though those are very like unnatural colors, it looks like it fits in the real world still.
Yeah. So we're looking. Miyamoto's walking around and showing his hair's getting great, man. He's gonna get old one day.
He is old.
I mean, yeah. He's got such a huge watch. Oh, I guess he's wearing a watch that I'm narrating for the audio people. He's next to a question block, and he's got a watch kind of thing on that I think is a thing. It's the power-up band, which I guess tracks your
true.
It's NFC or something like that. So it's got a big old M on it, and it says you use it to search for hidden secrets around the park or to play various activities. It'll record what you do in the park. Oh, you scan a QR code on the back. And you link it up with your smartphone. So, I see. So the QR code's just to link it up with your smartphone.
Yeah.
And then you hit it on the block, and that's cool. What a gentleman.
I don't know if I want to do that.
That thing's definitely not in COVID times.
That thing's probably going to be gross.
That's very true. So it's funny, the app that he just showed.
Oh, okay. I was just about to ask that too. If there's going to be like more than one.
Yeah, right. The app that he showed to use on the smartphone also looked very, very Super Mario Run-ish, like the overworld-ish, which makes sense. I mean, it's Mario, but
I wonder why they're showing this for the American audience. Because most people watching this will never be able to go here.
I know. I wonder it too. I mean, I guess because is this a good time, Japan? It's morning for them, I guess.
Yeah. I think it very much so is like a shareholder play.
Oh, yeah. It's 8 a.m. for them. So like, yeah, that makes sense that like, do it in the morning for them and evening time for us.
It's Bowser, man.
How long is this?
With the power blocks, I don't know, dude. It's live.
All right. So how do we want to handle it on the fly? Do we want to
watch the whole thing? Or
yeah.
How long? Oh wait, I think it's like 15 minutes or something like that. I think they said. But let me see what
if it does say, then yeah, that would be good to know.
Where's the announcement?
So right now he's showing something about POW blocks, and there's a shell. and he's trying to hit a POW block. Oh. What is going on?
Roughly 15 minutes.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so like he's hitting this POW block thing and it's moving a shell around, and then if he does it at the right time, then a shell like pops up and hits a different POW block or something. But pretty much like the stuff that's going on in the background, that like we've all seen, like just the big wall of like, oh, there's a Mario level in the back of this amusement park. Seems like at least some of it is part of like interactive games things. So like the shell, if you're doing things at the right time, it'll move around and hit things. Oh, this is okay. I think we're getting into this is the underground level. Oh, I thought this was going to be the Mario Kart ride. That'll probably be the last thing, and I'm very excited to see.
I mean, it looks like a Mario Kart thing because the arrow.
Yeah, it feels a bit creepy. He says. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah, it definitely looks. This is crazy. I can't even fathom a world where we're about to be able to. I mean, I'm not going to be there, but be in like the Mario world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just insane.
I wanted to, dude. I wanted to. Bob still wants to, but I don't know if that's a good idea right now.
Yeah, man. Going all the way to Japan and stuff, probs Noah. But I mean, the Nintendo world, whenever it comes to Florida, like 100% going there.
That's easy. Like, obviously, that's way easier.
Bob-omb. So, audio listeners, yeah, they're still underground. Also, we'll put timestamps, I guess, and if you want to skip past this, you can.
Mm-hmm. Or if you want to watch the video version.
That's so true. Go watch the video
version.
Go to the video, see what's going on here.
And use the timestamp just to go to this part.
So a bob-omb exploded, and now wherever Miyamoto's standing is like going crazy. And he says he's turned.
I've turned small.
What a weird. I don't even know what's happening. The box are all bleak. Okay, so he's turned into. Oh, that's interesting. So now he's turned into Mini Mario, and so everything's a lot bigger. This is so cool. Everything's blown up. Imagine Samus World, like Metroid World.
It's true. I wonder how far out we got to get, because it seems like it's called Super Nintendo World, but it seems like a Mario World.
For sure. Especially this one. I mean, I think it sounds like the one in Florida is still supposed to be way bigger or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, this is just straight up Mario. Like, other than there were some Pikmin shown in promo art, like literally what else is there that's not Mario?
One Up Factory. What are we making here?
Cool. Some t-shirts, hats, etc.
See, when I was 8, I'd be freaking pestering my parents, being like, I want to get a Mario hat. And I'd be freaking pissed if I didn't get a Mario hat. But now I can get my own Mario hat. What the heck?
What? This is Toko Mario. Mario starts walking around. That's so interesting.
I want it. I want all of the things.
I hope that he's about
What is he eating?
I don't know. Oh, this?
Oh, it's popcorn.
Eating popcorn while walking around might seem ill-mannered, but this is a special popcorn that Universal Studios made. Wait, why would that be ill-mannered? Caramel peach and mushroom flavor? What's mushroom flavor? Maybe it's like truffle or something. You know, like
this is Japan, man. They like different stuff.
I know, you're so right. I mean, they do like shiitake mushrooms or something like that.
Yeah, and they have like more savory candy than we do.
Yeah, right. Okay, this is definitely the most realistic looking Mario and Luigi I've seen, as far as like people wearing costumes and stuff, and it being, like the faces look like they're the right aspect ratio and stuff like that. Instead of looking all janky.
But it's
people in. Ooh, Luigi's arms though are like folding too much, but that's besides the point. Who even cares? Wait, who said Dad's busy? They said that about him?
Miyamoto said that.
what? Kineoscope Cafe or something? Oh, this is Animal
Oh, this
Crossing.
is like no, this is Mario, and there's like
you're right. I was thinking of like the presents from the sky.
I got a ton of coins.
What
do you get from the coins? What do the coins
The
do?
restaurant is run by toads, and there's screens showing toads making food. That's very fun. What? So he just Okay, what's Kinopio? Why do I not know what that is?
I don't know. Maybe it means something in Japanese. Yeah. Or maybe it's like a not localized name.
Also,
mushroom dishes. That's messed up.
Oh no. Why does the one on there was one that looked a little bit phallic.
Let's head further inside.
Okay.
It's weird that they're just eating mushrooms here.
I very much
weird.
agree. I mean, like, I understand that like mushrooms are so much a thing because mushroom,
Yeah,
that,
I mean,
like,
Mario. I mean, but we never actually see Mario eat mushrooms, so it's like not as weird. Like it's not implied that he eats them as much.
Right, as much as he touches them and then absorbs their powers.
Exactly. They become one.
Yeah. Especially so I'm wondering if these are all like they look like mushroom stuff, or if it all really is mushroom.
Yeah, like
food.
Oh wait, here we go.
Oh, mushroom burger,
super mushroom pizza bowl.
What? Yeah, everything's got mushrooms.
Was there a strawberry?
There was a strawberry, and there were mushrooms on the side. Yeah, that seems like. I mean, I know y'all are going all out to make it make sense, but that seems like a weird take.
Yeah, and gross us in the world.
Yeah, especially because they didn't look like good mushrooms. Like, I'm not a huge fan of mushrooms in general, to be perfectly honest, but like I'm fine with like I don't know, like sauteed.
I'm not spending $25 to eat this mushroom pizza, dude. This is freaking Universal Studios. They're going and paying $37 for a freaking Mario question block cake or whatever.
Yep. Okay, he said there's more fun stuff that you can discover, which makes it sound like I'm sure the last thing that they'll show, because this sounds like we're finishing up, and I'm sure they'll do one more thing and probably be
they're playing
a cart ride
in other countries.
Yeah, there are.
People can visit in the future.
2075. Hollywood, California, and Orlando, Florida, Singapore in Asia, and Super Nintendo World. Blah 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 blah. It's gonna happen, he says.
If it was in Japan before they open.
We hope you'll come visit Super Nintendo World here in Japan.
I want to.
You guys gonna buy me some tickets and make COVID stop happening?
Yeah.
Bowser's Castle. Let's do this thing.
We gotta figure it out.
Mario Kart Quiz Challenge. Team Bowser is ready to race. Nintendo and Universal Studios collaborated to create it. I am very excited to see what this looks like, because I've been very curious. Just like took 6 years to develop. Man, that's before the Switch. Yeah, honestly, like obviously Mario has a ton of staying power no matter what. But like the fact that all this was starting in motion before the Switch was
before Nintendo was like back.
Right.
Like, this was like a Wii U era
decision. That's crazy. I mean, and that's why it sounds like the Orlando, Florida one, I didn't mean to say both, the Orlando one went from being a small part of the park to buying their own park. Like, I'm sure some of that was like, oh, Nintendo's doing great right now. Like, let's go ahead and do more. Like probably they scrapped the smaller plans to make bigger plans instead. But yeah,
I want one of those.
I know those cups. Oh, this trophy for the race exclusive to Universal. I wonder if the next Mario Kart game somehow ties back to these, and there's like Universal races. You know what I mean? Like something.
I mean, maybe
like other rides,
like with the movie tie-in or something.
Oh yeah. Okay, here we go.
We're looking at it. Ride.
I mean, they look like Mario Karts, that's for sure.
I saw this before. This was in like a Verge article or something.
So you wear an AR headset. I've seen a couple of screenshots, but not much. What?
Bring me see a ride.
There's a lot more to show that we didn't show today. They didn't show it to us. Oh my goodness. All right, that seems like the end. Yep.
It's done.
What a tease.
Boo, no Smash announcement.
I love that they specifically had to say we will not.
Yeah,
be
we're not talking about games here.
Like,
we're not talking about
wow,
games.
we're that bad, aren't we?
Where the heck is? Oh wait, never mind. I forgot. I gotta freaking press the thing at the thing.
Well, that was it. I hope everybody enjoyed us reacting to not a ton happening on there, but I mean, it looks cool. It's fun. The understanding better the ways that we can interact with stuff. That's neat. Because in the past, I just didn't really know what that meant. I still don't know what those coins mean.
Yeah, I still don't know what they
a bunch
do.
Of coins. So,
are they gold coins for my
maybe.
Nintendo?
I mean, that would be cool if so. Like, you know, that's.
But I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, exactly. You could pretty easily.
Yeah, you can like
those or something.
Yeah, because you can like make your money back for going to university.
Maybe there's like a limit per day or something like that. Like, you know, you could do each item block once, and at that point, maybe you could make up to $5 worth of gold coins or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if your ticket, you know, essentially like covers the chances of that, then I don't know, something.
We shall see.
We shall see. All right, getting back to the questions, I guess. Very sharp turn coming back in. But we were going over John Francis's questions. The last thing we were saying was what in Age of Calamity should be referenced / brought back for Breath of the Wild 2. I, again, haven't finished the game. Long story short, I think story stuff just in general, like there being an emphasis on that, I think would be nice to have
a
little bit more of
the gameplay.
Exactly.
I would rather them take the story out than for that to happen.
Yep. Very much agreed on that front. So, but it would just be cool if there was more, not even necessarily like story in terms of like a linear thing, but just lore, like obvious. I mean, there's so much lore in Breath of the Wild, but like just a little bit more overt stuff as well. And like maybe just make it optional side things like the memories were or something. But I don't know. I just like that idea.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm down.
Number 4, gonna watch the Let's Predict 2021 of Nintendo y'all did. But what is one dream game you wish would come to Nintendo Switch? And what's one game you want more info on? In before Parker says Hollow Knight. So there's this game called Hollow Knight Silk.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very true.
But good.
Dream. I mean, yeah, the dream game. That's 100% it. Like Pokemon, but doing all the things that we wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know. Dream game to come to Nintendo Switch. There's a lot of. I just want whatever new games are coming out. You know, Metro Prime 4. Like those would be cool to find out more about, et cetera, et cetera. But like, I'm just excited to see what ends up happening.
Mm-hmm. Same.
So like, I don't think there's any games. I guess what I'm trying to say, they're like on other platforms that I'm like, I just really want this one to come over. Because otherwise,
and also like what we talked about, like new games and like dormant IP and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. And number 5, Nintendo calls you both and says, we have some money. We have the tech. Gentlemen from fanatixfour, we want you to design our new Switch Pro. Spec it out in as much detail as you can. How big? What does the UI look like? What features? What gets cut from the Switch as it is now? Do you keep the ability to go from home to the portable, or do you design 3 Switches, 1 portable, 1 home, and 1 actual Switch? They also throw in dedicated servers for online and ask for your help in improving online. What do you do?
Go to questionable takes.
Is it up? I don't think it's up yet, is it?
Oh yeah, he say I don't know, man. Ask Max. But we talked about this with Bob and Max from Loot Pots, and also questionable takes. So you'll see the answer whenever that goes up.
You sure will. Which, I mean, that's a little bit more over the top and silly than the answer we'd probably give right now, but it's way more fun.
We kind of also talked about like the realistic thing that we want to. And we always talk about the realistic thing that we want. in the videos. So like, it's like an amalgamation of all of those things.
Yeah. So if you want to hear us talk for like over an hour about exactly that question, John Francis, go listen to that when it's out. It'll be great. You know,
It's true. It's true.
And then finishes by saying, I want to toss this edit on here because in Parker's video on Immortals, at the end, he said something that struck home with me. Immortals does certain things that quote unquote fix Breath of the Wild, but it doesn't feel right, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. That's the same thing. That's how I feel about the game. Because it's like,
I think it just reverts back to defaults is a lot of it, you know?
Yeah. And I don't like that. I feel the people that's like, but I like Zelda the way that it was. I didn't want that. I like Zelda fine then, but Breath of the Wild is like the first Zelda game that I love. You know, like Wind Waker's cool. I really like it a lot, but there's like stuff that I don't like in it. I don't think that there's really anything in Breath of the Wild that is like a sticking point for me. That's like, I don't like this part of the game. You know, like even the inconveniences I loved because it made the game's world mean more. You know, like even the thing like, oh, I can't climb up the wall because it's slippery and crap. It's like, I love that crap.
Yeah, no,
it makes
totally
sense.
Feel you there. Yeah, no, I definitely, and like, it also felt rewarding to like, you could figure out ways to climb at least a little bit better in the rain than if you just didn't think about it at all. Like, you know, climb twice, hop, slide down, climb twice, hop, something like that, whatever
it made
was.
it a puzzle. It's a puzzle. Climbing,
exactly. Yeah. And like, so it's still not as good as regular climbing, but it feels rewarding to do that. Like, yeah, those are things that like realistic nuisances, there's such a fine line because there are things where it's like, I know some people, I think you said this about Red Dead Redemption 2 as well, where there are some things where it's like, it's so realistic that it's like, but it's a game at the same time. So like, I don't really want, you know, such and such happen, but
it doesn't even necessarily, like for me, a lot of the stuff in Breath of the Wild that I say to myself, that makes sense. In reality, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like, in like cartoon logic, it makes sense, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So like it's stuff like, oh, like the lightning hitting you, like freaking coming down from the sky and you throwing your sword at somebody, and that's not gonna happen in real life. But within this game's world and the logic that they set up, it makes sense. Not a lot of games have logic on that level. Yeah. So that's the thing that I like about Breath of the Wild.
Agreed. Good questions, John Francis. Thank you very much. Moving along, Pat Green, Poopsmith, says, do you think one reason a game like Mario All-Stars went the limited release path is because Nintendo fears people would buy the retro titles instead of their newer titles? Are they afraid of the power of their own backlog? Random shower thought, I guess. Happy holidays, Fanatics pals.
Thanks. Happy holidays, my guy. No.
I mean, I totally feel you there at the same time. Like,
I think it's the opposite almost, where I think they want to keep the value of their back catalog. That's what they want. They don't want like that to be diluted, because people have this, and I mean, it's still going to be the case, even with the limited release thing and blah, blah, but like people have this thing of like, this game's $60, but it's X amount of years old.
Yeah.
You know, for them, and just realistically, that's not how value works. And like they want to do all the, like everything in their power to keep the value of their IP as high as possible.
I think it's a yes and no, because I think no in this case, but I think that is still the reason that they wouldn't be like, all right, you know what, we're going to do N64 games, but we're just going to release them all for, you know, $20 a piece or whatever, $15 a piece, $10, whatever, on the regular eShop along with other things. Like, I feel like they wouldn't want to do that for that reason, because then it would make it like for at least a couple weeks, the whole eShop would just be like, you know, Mario 64 would be living up there for a while and stuff like that.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I think in bulk, they wouldn't want to do that, is what I think, especially if it were like all of their, you know, like
because
their whole virtual console.
Especially like with that specific example, right? The people that would buy the N64 games there's not enough of those people to keep it there. Like it'll be there, like they'll get it at number one, but it's not going to
Mhm.
stay at number one because these games are only like as high as they are because they're in the memory of people.
Mhm.
But like as we've seen with all the games,
Yeah.
when they are like this thing of like, here it is on this library, we can play it whenever, they're not as good as we remember they are. So it's like they can't compete with the newer games. That's why it's like it's almost the opposite, because it like they're on this pedestal because you can't just play them whenever. You
Mhm.
know, like they're not that accessible.
Yeah,
in
no, I mean,
every way.
right, yeah. I think that definitely makes sense. I feel like there's some element of truth to that, but it's also dwindling more and more over time as there's a stronger pre-existing library. Like if they were to do that at launch, that would have been worse, because then some of the not Breath of the Wilds would have never seen the light of day or whatever, because people would be like, yeah, sure, I'll buy a Switch and then play. I mean, I don't know if this is the exact scenario,
Yeah,
but
I heard a lot of people saying that before. Like that was the argument for like almost for Nintendo, where it's like, well, if they did that, I don't agree with that.
Right,
Like
yeah.
I think that people put too much value into these games. I think that they're great games and everything like that, but I still think even from indie devs, the newest thing from them, if it's good, it will sell. Period. Like because people could still, if that's how good they are, like people would have just bought Wii U. And that
right, yeah, yeah.
Wii U. And the only games that sold would be virtual consoles on virtual console games on Wii U, because N64 was on that, SNES was on that. Like all these consoles that people were like, oh, that's why they're not here, because it would compete with indie. But no, I think it's almost like the complete opposite of that, of them being like, this isn't as profitable as we want it to be.
They don't want to see Ukulele doing better than Super Mario 64 maybe, or something like that.
No,
like,
not even that. I just think that it's just they're not maximizing with the potential of that library, where they're like, if they drip feed it out, they can make more money. Because that's exciting. But if all of it is available all at once, it's not exciting anymore.
I mean, because I guess really the thing is, for the most part, they're not thinking about like, I think, they're thinking about like the online service first and foremost, and like, how can we build this out into being something worth more money and better and stuff, and like, oh, the games, that's a good way of doing that, as opposed to thinking about like these games, like where's the options of places that we could put them or something, I guess. Yeah, no, I mean, so that makes sense. So as far as the like limited release thing, I think it's
I can't say, because I don't even know if it's actually a limited release.
Right.
In the way that
I think we'll have to see on March 31st. On March 31st, we'll see what happens and if they come out elsewhere, something like that. But I do think like that is one of the things that Doug Bowser did answer in the interview, was people were like, how come you did will we still be able to get these games after March 31st? And he was like, we thought that it was important for this to make it a limited time release. And I think there's some truth to that, where like, regardless of what their future plans are, I think they were like, but it'll be better if it's limited, because then it'll feel more like, here's this thing, whether that's right or not. I feel like there's some intentionality there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that was like the Occam's razor explanation.
Yeah, right.
Of it definitely being this thing of like, it's limited because it was for the 35th anniversary, and it's not the 35th anniversary anymore at that point, So
yeah, I think even if that's not the core reason, I'm sure they at some level convinced themselves of that as well on Nintendo's side. So continuing on, Dirk Marcos says, after the Game Awards, I crave for a new E3, but after this year, do we still need one, or are those forever gone and over? Also, what's your favorite type of cookie and drink to have? White chocolate macadamia for AJ, and IKEA cookies for me, as I like to call them.
It's true. Drink? I don't know. I just like juice. I like
juice is good.
It's literally whenever I'm like over my sister's house or something, or she's like out at the store and she's like, oh, you want something? I'm like, juice. And then she's like, what kind of juice? I'm like, I don't care, just get me juice. It's like, I'm just down for juice, man. Juice is great,
It's true. Also, Kaffa Rep is the name of specifically the IKEA cookies that I like. I think there's multiple kinds of IKEA cookies, but Kaffa Rep, it's pronounced very differently from how I said it, is the one. But yeah, juice is good. There's a lot of good apple juice. Like real apple juice is just so good. Like if it's a little bit sour, like Mott's apple juice and stuff, like it's fine. It exists. I will put it into my face. But like I'm not like thrilled about it or anything. But like legit apple juice, oh man, I don't think there's a lot of better things in this world.
Juice is high tier, dude.
And yeah, I drink soda semi often. But at the same time, there's been plenty of times where I've been like, you know what, I'm not going to drink soda. And then I'll go for like 6 months and not drink soda. And it's super fine. So like, I should just not drink soda.
Soda for me is very much so, if it's there, sure, I'll drink it. But I'm not going to like go out of my way to seek it out.
Here's the problem for me. The thing that gets me back into drinking soda for the most part is that when I'm going through a drive-through, it's more cost effective if I want a burger and fries. Like if I get a combo, I don't want to get a water in that because I feel like they're stealing money
lemonade.
From me. That's true.
That's what I do.
I mean, usually when I stop drinking soda, I'll also just try to stop drinking sweet drinks in general. But I mean,
but like when I'm like at a restaurant and I don't feel like doing that whole dance of like, do you guys have this? Do you have that? I'm like, Sprite, just give me Sprite. Cause I know, and that also can become annoying because it's like, it's your mist.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Like,
obviously I want to meet the person that's like, oh
no, I hate that. Like I hate Sierra Mist.
I mean, I'm sure, I feel like I've met people
it does taste different.
It does
like Sierra Mist is like sweeter.
Yeah,
but like I don't care.
Fizzy, I think
it's like I don't care. Like I just like I'm telling you this because it's like I know that this group of things is I like this. This is fine, and I don't have to ask.
Could I have lemon lime soda?
Like, exactly. Like yeah, like yeah. But other than that, it's like I don't really like care about soda.
Yeah,
just get juice, man.
Rockman, Mega Man. I assume is it Mega Man? Just changed his name. I'm guessing.
I don't know. I don't see the profile picture. Yeah.
I'm guessing Mega Man, but if not, you tricked us. Look at you go. I don't have a question, but I just want to wish you both a Merry Christmas and have a safe New Year. You guys are awesome.
Thanks. You too.
Feels like a Mega Man thing, so I'm going with it. I started a thing today. Set up my out of office email from work because I'm going to be out of office. This is my first time like ever being. Yeah, no. I feel like this is probably the longest work vacation that I've had that I haven't split it up with some work in it somewhere. And I'm very excited about that. But my out of office message, I finished it with, have a happy Merry and a Christmas New Year. And that just feels really silly and fun to me. So that was a good time.
It's like, Jerry, have a happy and healthy.
It is. Did he start that?
I don't know. It's the first person I heard say it.
Because now, like,
because he did that
Bob
like,
say it,
cartoon or whatever. It was like oh yeah, that's where we got it from. Was Jerry?
Okay.
Like he has.
Yeah, I mean, I got it from you guys, so I say it as well now. So look at that.
He got it. It was like he did a cartoon. And it was like somebody's grandpa or something calling somebody on the answer machine. It's like, yeah, you have a happy and healthy, a happy healthy. You know, it's like
so funny. Yeah, I didn't know. I just
got that from.
Thought it was a thing.
It's true.
Moving along, Grimhane says, now that Among Us is on Switch and the Epic Games Store and is coming to at least Xbox sometime in 2021, possibly PlayStation as well, can we all just acknowledge it as the best crossplay / cross-platform game to exist ever?
I don't know, man.
I don't know what the criteria are for that, but like, sure, why not? We'll go for it. Also, Grimhane, on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being med-based scanned and 10 being 3 people saw them invent, how sus is Duncan?
It's a solid 8.
Well, you have to give that not just in. I mean, he said 1 to 10, but really he meant in Among Us sus.
Like
terms.
I got to give a specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Parker explaining how he's not the killer.
Makes Duncan sus?
No, I'm saying that's how sus it is.
That's
the level of sus because it's like there's like it's like 10% believable that you're not, but mostly it's like nah, he did it.
There's definitely like there's an element of practice for sure that comes into Among Us where like knowing the kinds of things to lie about and like there's a map in my brain like, when other people say I was here and I was here and I was here and I was here. If I'm the imposter, I'm like I want to be able to say a place that I wasn't or like, you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like
the
that
math
could
is
be
hard.
both effective but also detrimental
Oh,
to
for
early
sure.
relationships. Where it's like, I want to see like if you're good at lying.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So my sister played. This is before Among Us days, but there's a game called Resistance that it's a tabletop kind of game, but it's like super simple. Same kind of idea. There's some chips in the table or in the middle of the table, and you have two cards that identify your two roles. And long story short, you have to suss out who the bad guy is, or which two people have this one bad guy role, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you're playing it, you know, people are lying and some people are telling the truth and all that kind of stuff. And my sister was playing it with her boyfriend, and he was like, no, seriously, like, trust me, like, don't vote against me. Trust me. I'm not the guy. You got to trust me. And she was like, I trust you. I do trust you. Like, putting a relationship on the line. And then he was the bad guy. And then it was like, she was like, I can't believe you lied to me. He's like, dude, that's the game. And she's like, I thought you were like really telling me. He's like, I don't know. It was the game. Like, what am I supposed to do? Which, like, I feel that. And that's why in those games, like, I can't like put, you know, that kind of credibility online. Cause like, that's a lot, you know?
See, but that's the thing. It's like you only know that if you know how to play the game. So if it's like your first, like, if I would have been shocked if you were good at lying, it would have blew my mind. I would have never looked at you the same. But I was like, oh, that checks out. Yeah, that's Barry Parker to be bad at this.
Like, yeah. I mean, knowing, like, I mean, also, you just don't know all the things straight away. Knowing, like, oh, what task were you doing? What even are my first round? Well, my first round, I died immediately. Second round, y'all were like, I don't know, Parker wasn't doing any tasks. And I'm like, I don't even know what tasks, why, huh? And, you know, but I wasn't.
But that's all. That was when it was like,
yeah,
because you're like, I was an admin. I swiped the color, and I'm like, nah, dude.
Yeah. So there we go. Grimhane finishes by saying, what is the best way to cook a steak? Make someone else do it.
True. But I
don't know that I've ever cooked a steak, to be honest.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because you were like the chicken thing. Yeah. Do you ever figured out chicken?
Oh, I did get a lot better at chicken.
Okay.
Big secret for doing it on the stove, at least, is lid. That was a big deal. I do it at a lower temperature. That was a big thing.
I mean, that's also usually the thing,
steak,
you know, like just generally, like
I am very good at burgers.
If your problem is like, oh, this is dry, it's probably because like you got to freaking put a lid on it and also lower the temperature.
So I've gotten better at there was something else I made recently that I got better at, and I don't remember what it was. Asparagus. I really like kind of grilled-ish asparagus. That's real good. There it is. Best way to cook steak? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done it, so.
There it is.
Cha-ching. Last question, and then that's the end of this one. Sardi says, there's only one right answer to Grimhane's question.
Which one?
Follow on to what type of game? I don't know. I guess the steak one.
Yeah, he asked several questions.
A grill probably is the right answer.
I said grill. Is he talking about like
probably microwave? Definitely just microwave.
Yeah,
steak.
for sure, dude.
Get it? Pop it in there. You know,
a good 4 minutes. You know.
Follow on to what type of game would 2020 be with its core mechanics? What are you hoping 2021 will bring? Best wishes, guys. Happy holidays.
Wait, you said what kind of game? Oh, yeah. So what kind of game do we hope that 2021
will be? Yeah, I'm guessing that's what this is.
Monopoly.
Go to jail? Is that what you said?
Nah, man.
Yeah, we love going to jail.
Jesus Christ. Oh, no.
What kind of game? You know, an RPG, because eventually, hear me out. When you grind for a while, it makes it worth it. Like you can grind and it happens. So like, you know, we make videos and they're lots of fun and we have people and it's great, but YouTube kind of hates us sometimes and that sucks. And no matter how much we love the people, it's annoying when YouTube hates us. So hopefully, like in an RPG, the
Alright,
grind
sold
will
me.
reward us with
You
being
sold
OP.
me. I'm down.
That's it, y'all.
That's the podcast. We did it.
We
got
did
there.
it. AJ and I need to figure out what, because Friday is Christmas next week. So
True.
we need to figure out what we're doing next week if we even get to have a podcast at all. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But for now, this is what we
We
did.
should have did.
Oh, wait. I think, I mean, whatever. I'll mention it here. There's a project that we're doing that'll be on December 24th, and but we're talking about doing a slightly altered version of that same thing. Maybe we'll update you guys after the fact if that happens, and just putting it up on directly to you. So if we don't have a podcast, we should at least have that.
True.
We'll see.
Yes.
There it is.
That's what it is. Just like, comment, subscribe, rate on the podcast services. Tell a friend. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.